Don't fall for his flattering tune. He'll promise you the world until you drink that perfume. It's a highway, highway to the door, and a neon Medusa's got your heart. Sweet canyon lullabies, don't look straight into its eyes. It's a highway, highway to the door. There's only two ways to make it in this town. One is to be brilliant, the other is to drown. Don't take both drugs all in one go. You can't reach the heavens passed out on the floor. It's a highway, highway to the door, and a neon Medusa's got your heart. Sweet canyon lullabies, don't look straight into its eyes. It's a highway, highway to the door. If your mama could see you now, if your mama could see you now, topless and upside down, the room spinning around. If your mama could see you now, with the party lines coming out, are you lost or are you found? And there are too many mirrors in this Don't fall in love with the man on stage. I'll be on in a minute, then I'll sweep you away. Don't fall for the monsters in this maze, but I could love you forever if you'd meet my gaze. you drink that perfume. It's a highway, highway to the door, and a neon Medusa's got your heart. Sweet canyon lullabies, don't look straight into its eyes. It's a highway, highway to the...
Hello, once again I've forgotten to press the button on the music. There we go. We now have music. Anyway, welcome to tonight's stream. We're doing some building stuff. We're making things. We got that camera running. This one's going to be a bit different because I actually have the model running for this one. Woo! Because normally I don't use the model. I usually have just a static PNG of me. Because I have this camera. Hello. And then I have another camera over there that's at a lower angle. But I'm not using the other camera tonight because I don't think we need it. We're doing purely building. And also, you may notice things are spectacularly well lit. You can kind of see the reflection on the box. I have new lamp. I have lamp, and it is wonderful. And actually, I want to see, if I adjust these? Hang on. Can I cut down on the glare a little bit? A little bit. Not really. Actually, if they're still a little bit tight. Yeah, okay, now rotating them is not going to do much for me, so I'll just leave them as they are. But yeah, so if I turn that off, things are about to get dark. Yeah, things get very dim. And you can see I now have a camera shadow here and a bunch of shadows around the box. But if I turn this back on, flashbang warning. Things get very bright until the adjustment kicks in. So I think overall it just gives you a way better color fidelity, and also is much nicer for me when I'm doing work, because I'm not going, where's the light? So we're gonna get started on this. This is just a little TIE Fighter kit that I got as a gift. This was a Christmas gift from Tate and Tate Wife. So I'm very grateful to them. They didn't have to get me anything, but they did. So I'm gonna crack this open and give it a go. I've already had a look. It's kind of an interesting kit. There are no instructions in here. There are no instructions in these baggies. Our instructions are in the lid of the box. This is how we see what's going on. So this is the first time I've ever built a kit out of the lid of the box. Let's put it that way. So let's see what we've got. Okay, so I think this thing has. Okay, it's all contained on like the same frames. So I was wondering if it was split between. Maybe it is. No, actually, no, it is split between frames. Okay, because I was thinking it might just be a common frame because it builds the Star Wars TIE Fighter and TIE Advanced X1, and the X1 in lore. If you know your Star Wars lore, but if you know your Star Wars lore, the X1, also known as Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. I feel like I could turn that into a rap lyric. But yeah, Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. It was basically an experimental upgrade to the TIE Fighter. Your basic TIE Fighter is not, shall we say, a particularly robust aircraft. Or spacecraft, really. They're not designed for inter-atmospheric flight. They were basically designed to be as cheap as possible. So they have no life support system. They have no hyperdrive. They have no shields. They're basically just an ion engine pod and some blasters strapped underneath. The X1 was a attempt to kind of modify that and give it the firepower and protection and versatility of a larger kind of medium caliber spacecraft like a Rebel X-Wing. I don't think the X-1s went very far. I think there were a couple of them made, but ultimately I don't think they actually progressed. I think a lot of the details of the X1... Why have I only got one display? Is there only one display base for this? Do I have to choose? Interesting. Yeah. Oh no. Okay. I think it's okay. So it brings both of them. So they both get displayed on like one thing. That's interesting. Yeah, the X1 never really went anywhere. Instead, it got developed into a bunch of other TIE variants. Most notably, the TIE Interceptor and TIE Defender. The TIE Defender being an old-time favorite of mine. It's the one you see it very briefly in Return of the Jedi, but it's the one with the 3 weirdly angled wings. It's got 2 down the bottom and then 1 on the top. And then the Interceptor you also see in... Actually, do you see the Defender in Return of the Jedi? I can't remember. I know you see the Interceptor. It's the one with like the long pointy wings. Because it's notable for being piloted by my boy Suntir Fel. A1... A16, A213. Maybe if I leave this here... No, I can't read that. Maybe I can. A16, A213. Alright. Enough yammering, Ando. Let's get the God Hands out. Okay. A16. I do love about the God Hands. They really do cut smoothly. I love them for my Gunpla kits. I'm not a huge fan of them for Warhammer. I find that they don't... The cuts aren't as clean with Warhammer just because of, I think, GW's plastic is a bit spongier than the hard plastic that Bandai use for their Gundam kits. In A213. The rear face of the cockpit. Yes, these will probably do with some paint, but I don't know if I'll paint them tonight, just because I don't really have any mask or anything to deal with on the wings. How do these look? We'll just give them a bit of a tidy up. Use the good old scrapey boy. That is one thing I have been a little bit there. English, Ando. Stop trying to cram 3 words into one. You're not making the language more efficient, you're just making it less intelligible. So, what I have been tempted to pick up is, there are a couple of companies that make, like, specialist Gunpla, gate filing kits for removing, like, cut marks and gates and stuff from models. And notably, they use there's a couple of them that use a like a modified glass file and things like that. And the idea is that, you know, it lets you get that really mirror smooth finish that a lot of Gunpla kits have. A lot of the diamond files and things that I use normally, they'll remove the nubs, but they leave it with a very matte finish. They don't get that kind of homogeneous gloss finish. Now, getting a matte finish isn't a problem if you're then going to overcoat it with spray and repaint it. But things like Gunpla, I'm usually not going to paint it. I was looking to pick up some panel liner on the weekend, but I couldn't find any. And I actually think panel liner will be very good for these kits. I don't know if you can see it. Bring it up to the camera. Whoop. Yeah, close. So, let's see if we can get this to focus a bit. Yeah, okay, there we're starting to get some of it. Where's the eye box? There we go. So yeah, you can kind of see. I knew where my remote was. Ando, you need to clean this desk up. If I knew where my remote was, I'd use the remote, but still just go manual. Okay, we're going manual. Alright. So if we look closely, we can see this has got a bunch of panel lines on it. A little bit closer. A close-up of Ando's fingertips so you can commit identity fraud. So you can see this has got a bunch of panel lines on it. I think with just some straight brush on panel liner, this will be substantially improved in aesthetics. Fortunately, I do not have any currently. Let's get this cleaned up. This nub is being stubborn for some reason, and I do not know why. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this is a Bandai kit, and I think things good about Bandai kits, like Gunpla, is that their plastic tends to be a little bit harder in my opinion. Which means that it doesn't tend to fray when you're trying to file or scrape it. Because some plastics are strangely fibrous, and when you sand them, like they start just forming like shreds, like kind of like when you tear paper, and you get those little like fibers at the edge. Alright, that bit's done. Okay. Other support arm on this. Actually, one of the other things that Bandai have gotten pretty good at in recent years, and Games Workshop too, is putting the vents and the cut points. Bandai in particular are great at undergating. So what they do is, instead of, it's not really an example in this kit, but instead of putting the join right here, they'll put it under here, right? And what that means is, because this side, when it's together, will be hidden, you cut the cut point, and even though there's you know a mark there, because these two bits are together, you'll never see it. And it means that the overall finish of the kit is much better. And Games Workshop have gotten a lot better at doing that, and they tend to put like cut points, as where they can at least, in places where you won't see it when the model is built. Which I very much appreciate, because sometimes you build those older kits and you're like, why the hell did they put this here? Okay, A2 is the only other thing with the canopy front. Oop, that is upside down, I think. No, these look right side up. There we go. Okay, there's our pocket section. Then we done. What did I need next? I need A29. Is this guy here. All of the professional modelers out there are probably crying that I'm not ordering my sprues, not putting them in nice neat piles, but with a kit this small, and also I have limited desk space because I lack the discipline of only working on one thing at a time. I don't want to show you, but you can see a couple of things lurking off camera over here. But yeah, let's just say that I had to do a fair bit of cleaning earlier to make space from all the other things that I'm currently halfway through. And I will not move the camera to show the rest of the room with all of everything else that I'm currently ignoring. the undercoated Battletech miniatures lurking over my shoulder, the undercoated dwarves. The legions of lizardmen unpainted, wailing to be unleashed. I am trying to cut back on my pile of shame, both in terms of chiseling through it and also trying to add less to it. Unfortunately, I am not always being successful. The main problem is that my eyes are bigger than my stomach. I see something, I'm like, yeah, that's a 10-man unit. I'll be able to get that done. Spoilers, Hendo cannot get it done. I actually can sometimes. I've got a couple of little 10-man units that are more or less done sitting next to me, but fortunately, my distractions are legion, and I am but one turtle. What do we got? A2, 11, and 12, top and bottom. Okay, great. And then the weird wedge at the bottom. Which one's the top one? The top one's 11. These things are basically just orbs. Based spaceship orb. No, I used to play the space wing. Ando. Are you developing senility? Is your brain alright? Short answer, no. I've spent too much of my day trying to get a goddamn data table to work. But that aside, I used to play the Star Wars X-Wing tabletop game. Yes, Space Wing. When I finally make my Star Wars knockoff, that's what I'm going to call it. Welcome to Faith Wing. Completely legally distinct from Star Wars. Yes, I used to play the tabletop game. I dropped out when 2nd edition came out because they made some changes that I was a bit on. Notably, they contracted a lot of the pilot skill. So in 1st edition, it was very much pilot skill ran from 1 to 10. And in 2nd edition, they cut it down. Ah, Fruity, how you doing? Welcome in. We're building some TIE fighters. I got given these as a gift. The TIE Advanced X1 and TIE Fighter. So we're putting them together. The instructions are in the lid of the box, which I find quaint and also confusing. So we just put the lid on the X1 and we will put the base on it now. They're basically just orbs. Ooh, okay, interesting. What's the cut point in these? Yeah, I'm glad you're feeling better. I understand that feeling. I too am feeling better than I was yesterday. Yesterday I was very tired. I got to the end of the stream and I basically just crashed. I hit stop streaming, turned off my lights and went to bed. And I was not speaking coherently. So I'm doing reasonably better today, even though I almost called Star Wars, I almost called it Space Wing or something stupid. You'll hear me utter many incoherent things today, because brain is still not on all cylinders, but we're getting there. All right, these getting tidied up. It's looking good. Is also looking better. I don't think we'll actually get to see these points anyway. Good question. Which way is this supposed to go? Let us check the box. So small. Okay, yes, the square bit. Oh, you son of a bitch. Why is the detail so small on this thing? Okay, I think I figured out. I think this is front. Oh, there goes my model. It's not like the tracking. There we go. We have successfully created the orb. Orb time. Pizza time. Okay, next we need these. Now, which one's the top, which one's the bottom? 7 is the top, 2 is the bottom. Okay, this is the bottom, number 2. In my hands. Okay, click that. That. Alright, remember this, me chat. Bottom bit. Are you remembering? Because I won't. Oh, that one had already come off. Okay. Oh, not pinching myself with my clippers. There we go. Alright, and that's our top. Let's clean up. Back section. This is the bit that'll be visible. Yeah, the detail on the back of this will 100% benefit from some panel liner, which I do not have. And here's all the detail where I put my panel liner, if I had any. It's cleaned, whoops. Yes, I was segueing onto something. Oh yes, X-Wing, the tabletop game. Yeah, I stopped playing in second edition because some of the changes they made. But yeah, no, I used to play it a bunch with my friends in first edition. I was our kind of stalwart Imperial player. I played Rebels as well and Scum. I was actually kind of the first to break into Scum for our group. But I was always the stalwart Imperial player. Mainly because one of my friends was a mad rebel player and insanely keen for his A-Wings. So I made a point of playing Empire and blowing his A-Wings up with my TIE Phantoms. I became a little bit infamous in our group because the TIE Phantom was broken. It was an insanely good ship. And it was the first ship I picked up when they'd just come out. Because it had actually been a long time favorite of mine. Just as a cool ship in lore. But I didn't know when I picked it up that it was insanely good. I read its rules and was like, oh, okay, this thing seems kind of good. But yeah, did not realize the full levels of degeneracy it was capable of. Its main issue was the fact that it had incredibly high firepower, reasonable durability, which you could then increase with its cloaking ability, and its cloaking ability also gave it excellent maneuverability tricks. So you could basically just get in a knife fight with, like, at close range, it had like 5 firepower dice. So you just absolutely shred. It also didn't help that my preferred pilot for it had a rule, which was basically like when you uncloak, you got a free focus token. And there was an upgrade you could take, which I think was the advanced cloaking modification, which basically let you cloak immediately after making an attack. So you could basically decloak, attack, or recloak. Let's just say that, yeah, my cloaking shenanigans may have invoked some frustration. All right, next up we got A5. This is a small bit, so I don't want to drop it. And there we go. Yeah, X-Wing was a lot of fun. I do miss it. It's a good little game. Which kind of does make me mourn the fact that GW discontinued Aeronautica Imperialis. Again, it probably wasn't selling well, but they hadn't been supporting it well either, so it's a bit que sera. Why is this thing so small, and why does it not want to stay in my fingers? Why must the model be so small and Ando's turtle hands be so large? I think that bit should be good now. And oh my god. This, oh. Play. Yes, play nice. Very good. Come on. Stay on target. Come on, Ando, you can do it. Alright, there we go. That's looking good. Alright, now I just need to find out what the orientation is for it. Whoops. It just says... okay, it has orientating lugs. See, I don't know if you can see that, but it's got little L shapes. That's very useful. One of those things, I love it when they do that in a kit where they're like, hey, here, have a little locating lug so you know where the thing is supposed to go. I love it when they do it, and I hate it when they don't do it. There's been a couple of GW kits lately where I've been like, hey, if you could just put a lug on this thing. Also, why is my sideburn appearing and then vanishing? It's my magically invisible sideburn. Okay. Cool, so that all goes together, and now we just need... wings, A11 and A14. A11, so that's that guy, and then the wing panel. This guy's going together pretty quick. I think if we get these guys all finished, I might jump across and start working on some other stuff, or continue working on some other stuff, because I currently have like an 80% finished steam tank across from me. I was talking about this last night, well, and also on this stream, I've been kind of splitting this conversation into pieces, but I am a hobbyist who has been in the Warhammer hobby for a significant amount of time. In my over 3 decades on this planet, I have been in the hobby for approximately 25 of those. 25 years, not decades, that is. although sometimes it feels like it. So yeah, I've been doing it for a while, and that means that kind of by necessity, my armies are old. My armies have been around and in my possession for a long time. I was playing my Lizardmen when Warhammer Fantasy ended. I have been playing them throughout the Age of Sigmar, and now that Warhammer the Old World is coming out, I will probably play my Lizardmen in that. And I think it's overdue for them to be retired from Age of Sigmar. My army, that is, not the actual faction. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop using them in Age of Sigmar for the most part. I'm going to use them for the Old World. I'm going to probably start building a new Seraphon army in Sigmar. But in the meantime, to hold me over, I have started a new Cities of Sigmar army, which is 8 steam tanks. It is not a good list, although to my abundant surprise, there's actually been a couple of competitive lists that have done pretty well at tournaments that weren't rocking full steam tank builds, but like 50 to 2/3% of the army was steam tanks. They had a steam tank general, and then like most of their battle line was steam tanks. And I was like, oh, goddamn. Like, I picked it because I thought it would be a funny meme and an easy army to just drop on the table and play with. You know, I don't expect it to win, because steam tanks have this unfortunate distinction in that they are not monsters, they are war machines. Which means that, so monsters, the old, like, Seraphon Thunder Lizard lists, they could actually do okay, because all of your battle line stuff were, Stegodons, and Stegodons are monsters. Which means that they can contest objectives, and they count as 10 models when they contest that objective. Steam tanks don't. Steam tanks, I believe, count as 2 because they're war machines, but they have 10 wounds or more. So they count as 2 models, but it basically means that I only really have an objective contesting capacity of 16 when all of my steam tanks are in the same location. You know, in theory, I'd be better off dropping probably half my steam tanks and taking some other units to support them. And I might do that eventually. I've been thinking about maybe dropping a steam tank or 2, taking a great cannon. I have been looking at, as well, the Lord Ordinator. So the Lord Ordinator, which is a what are they called? Stormcast Eternal. They have a funky little rule, which I think slips by a lot of people, because there are a couple of Stormcast models that are like this. Yndrasta's the other one, where, although it depends if they get rewritten or not, but as it stands, their rule reads friendly order models within a certain distance, right? Not friendly Stormcast models, friendly order models, which means if you ally them into another Ord army, like Cities of Sigmar, they will get that buff. And in the case of the Ordinator, his thing is he buffs war machines, he gives them +1 to hit. So it means in theory I can get my steam tanks hitting on like relatively high. I mean, steam tanks can already buff, actually steam tanks can't buff the hit, they can buff the amount of shots. So I can get my steam tanks in theory hitting on like 2s with all their attacks. Same with the cannon. If I take an Iron World Great Cannon, I can potentially get that thing putting out a considerable amount of firepower with relatively high accuracy, especially if I take multiple Great Cannons. The only real limitation at the moment is that there aren't that many war machines in Cities of Sigmar, surprisingly. There is the cannon, which only really gets the most benefit out of running in a Castellite formation, but I think still has some value on its own. So there's the Great Cannon, there's the Steam Tank, there's the Gyrocopter and Gyro Bomber, which, funnily enough, ta-da, I have a Gyro Bomber. I'm not actually planning on using it for Age of Sigmar. I got that for Warcry, because the Gyrocopter and Gyro Bomber are hilarious in Warcry, because they actually just count as fighters. So you can just put them on the table and be like, fuck you, here's a helicopter. Which I fully intend to do with my dwarfs in Warcry. Helicopter, helicopter. But yes, unfortunately, I don't really rate the Gyro Bomber or Gyrocopter in a Cities of Sigmar force. They cost too much for what they bring, and all they really bring is like a 1-use mortal wounds attack. They do have some other options, because in theory you can run a gyro. Well, the dwarf, what's he called? The rune, not the runesmith. I'll remember his name. Cogsmith, little engineer dude who I also have because I picked him up for Warcry. He is not very useful on the tabletop because he only buffs gyrocopters. Because unfortunately in the current version of Cities of Sigmar they decided to be racist and make it so that human units couldn't get buffed by dwarf units and vice versa. How the... I see. I think I see. So all he can really do is buff gyrocopters and gyrobombers, which doesn't make much sense because gyrobombers and gyrocopters are faster than he is, so he can't keep up with them to buff. Actually, no, I think he can buff them at any point on the table, I think. I will check. I will literally get my phone out right now and consult this fact. There we go. We have one wingaling attached. We have our wingaling TIE fighter. Well, speaking of, it was Trogdor's birthday the other day. A wingaling dragon. That's the other one on my list of things to play. I've got Dangeresque 3, the Rumicide Triangulate, or whatever it is. Man, I love Homestar Runner, and I love it as this time capsule of an era that is gone. But at the same time, a small part of me is like, please, brothers chaps, in our darkest hour, return to us. But at the same time, I'm also like, can we just leave it as it was? Like, don't try and resurrect it and fail. Just leave it as that thing we loved. Alright, Cogsmith. Dwarden Pistols, Grudge Raker, Cogaxe. Blah blah blah. Ah, you know, so you can issue commands to gyrocopters or gyrobombers anywhere on the table. Maybe that's not so bad. I think the problem with that is you'd need, like, a lot of them. Gyro... Ah, interesting. You can run a unit of gyrocopters for like 240 points. So I'm like, maybe there is some value to that. I don't know. But you can't run gyrobombers in units, I don't think. I don't know. No, Ando, put it away. Do not let the memes tempt you. The meme of being able to run a bunch of gyrocopters and a bunch of Folksmiths to buff them and just like playing Ride of the Valkyries, it was growing too tempting, but I can't and I shan't. Because I always get tempted by those like off-color, well, not off-color, off-meta colorful armies that are just like, oh, by the way, you didn't think this was possible? Behold. That's why I laughed my ass off and greatly appreciated it when the meta build for Bone Splitters was 35 big stabbers. Like, enough dudes to fill your battle line requirements, and then just fucking big stabbers as far as the eye could see. And it was kind of bullshit how those lists worked, because it worked by manipulating activation shenanigans. Because each big stabber counted as an individual unit, which meant that like your opponent could only target so many of them. Which meant that it was like, oh cool, well we'll choose to target this one and then overkill it, which means we waste a bunch of wounds, like a bunch of damage killing that thing, and then we'll try and target this one and we'll overkill it and waste a bunch of damage. And the other thing is that with the big stabber, their whole thing has always been, I mean, A, they just do good damage, but B, when they die, they very reliably deal mortal wounds. So it was kind of like, you overkill one of my big stabbers, or, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 of them, at which point I strike back with a bunch of mortal wounds, and then my surviving ones will just get to stab you. It was one of those lists, like, because it was an absolute sleeper. Like, it was same with the 11 cockatrice beastman list, where like no one saw it coming, and then some absolute mad lad shows up with a tournament and is like, yeah, behold my like D6 mortal wound laser birds. Once I get within 12 inches of you, I'm just gonna toast everything you love. That's why I'm deeply saddened by what they've done to the Engine of the Gods. Engine of the Gods is absolutely garbage now. Which does make me a little bit sad. Hopefully maybe it'll get a rework. I doubt it. They don't seem to be doing reworks like they used to, because the Engine of the Gods did get a rework in one of the General's Handbooks once. But I think that had to do with the summoning changes. That was like General's Handbook, like 2017 or something. And by the teasers, it looks like we're getting some more Nighthaunt models in the future. Hooray. I am so enthusiastic for that. And don't get me wrong, I don't dislike Nighthaunt, but I feel like someone at GW on the sculpting team has a hard-on for Nighthaunt and just keeps sculpting new Nighthaunt models, and they're like, yeah, sure, we'll release that. Like, please, can Daughters of Cain get some love? The last thing they got was like a single character here. No, fucking Skaven. Give Skaven some love. Their whole line is ancient. Please, give me some non-resin Skaven war machines. Give me some Skaven clan models that don't look like they're from the 90s. Please, give us new Skaven. Like, Lizardmen got their rework. Give us Skaven. They really do deserve it. Give us some new Daughters of Cain stuff. Give me some Deepkin stuff. Deepkin have gotten, like, again, one new hero since they came out. They got, like, one new hero and some Underworld teams. Give me some more Deepkin stuff. The Fish Elves... Fireslayers. Actually, no, Fireslayers just did get a new unit from Warcry. The Flame Seekers, who I was tempted by, but I already have enough Warcry projects. Although, again, they are tempted because they have the little baby magma drop, which means in theory, if you could get enough of those, you could run a list that is mostly baby magma drops, which I adore. There's a couple of them that tempt me. The new Cruel Boys, the Beast Hunters or whatever they're called, they tempted me a little bit as well, but I was also tempted by regular Cruel Boys, like the non-bespoke warband, that's the generic one. The only problem is that the thing that got me there was that Hobgrots. So you have a Hobgrot, basic Hobgrot, and then you've got the Hobgrot leader. But the Hobgrot leader is not a hero, which means you can't use him as your warband leader, which means you have to take at least one Orc. And that made me mad because I wanted to run just a Hobgrot warband, just one Hobgrot, Stabgrot, and then like a whole bunch of Hobgrots. And just, it's not going to be a good list, but there's going to be a lot of us, and we're going to fucking stab you. Which is as it should be for any sort of grot. Okay. Okay, so I can mount this solo on the base if I want to, but I don't. I'm going to do it as a dual display, because otherwise I have nowhere else to put this other fucking TIE fighter. Cool, well, that's our advanced TIE done. He is Dunsky, he is very grey. Whether or not I'll actually put some paint on him tonight, we'll see. Maybe I'll put some brush on primer and have a crack. So I would prefer to panel line him. Also, not sure if I have an adequate grey for a TIE fighter. Oh, maybe Dawnstone. Alright, let's put these aside. Alright, I know what I'm going to need next. Because I've built... This is a good thing about these kits being so similar. Because I've built one, I know now how to build two. Whoop. Whoop. Oh, okay. These cut points are a little bit closer to the pod. That's interesting. By interesting, I mean annoying. Right, there's our front. Back. And there's our cockpit front. Let's file that. I know I like doing these making streams. I should do more of them. I always just feel like, I don't know, I'm under the gun doing it. Like, if I don't have an outcome by the end of the stream, again, I stream 8:30 till usually about 11:30 or midnight, which is about 3-ish hours, 3.5. I feel like if I can't get it finished in that time, then I've kind of wasted your time. And like particularly with like gunpla kits, I find usually it's like, okay, I can get a torso done in that time, or like a leg or two, but I can never feel like I can get the whole kit. And I don't want to keep people waiting and be like, oh, by the way, come back tomorrow to see me do leg number 2. Maybe I can set up some like longer streams on a weekend or something and do it, but because I do know some people like to do like build along streams where they'll be like, I'm doing this Gundam, come and build your Gundams too. Because I have many kits. If you follow Vividly Vivi, and you should, because Vivi's fucking great. But she posted on Twitter the other week where she was like, oh, you just got this and I'm jealous. And it was the Leica Zero X from Zoids, which is a kit that I also have because I have a colossal Zoids backlog that I really should clear. So funny story, or maybe it's not funny, maybe it's just tragic, surrounding my Zoids backlog. So years ago, well, air quotes, years ago, I had a Zoids collection when I was like young, like 10 to 12, right? Back when they were hot on the Western market. The wind-up kits and motorized kits. And I fucking adored those. I fucking adored building them. It was one of my favorite pastimes, and I loved my collection, even though they were a bit well-loved. I'd broken some of them, or not assembled some of them that well. And then we moved house, and so they got packed into a box, and they were out at my pop's place, my grandfather's place, and they never wound up, well, I thought they never wound up coming back into my possession. And then I remember years later, when my pop actually passed away, being like, hey, I remember, like, because we were cleaning up his place, I was like, hey, I remember we had a bunch of stuff that we left out here that we never brought back when we moved. Like, can we find some of that? Like, you know, I would like my Zoids back, please. And I remember Mum being like, sorry, Ando, I'm pretty sure Pop threw all that out. And I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, I loved that shit, and he threw it out. Fucking mad about this. So, and this was probably about 5 or 6 years ago at this point. So young Ando is like, I'm mad, but now I have a job and I have money. So, and there's a lot of the new HMM kits, the high-end master model kits, and at this point I had like 2 of them. I had the Command Wolf and the Gun Sniper. I had Lena's Gun Sniper, which is next door, mostly built. I still have to build like the little shopping basket it comes with. I just haven't gotten around to it. So I was like, you know what, Ando, you have fucking money. Let's rebuild our Zoid collection in the way that we can. Let us buy some fucking HMM kits. And so I did. I bought a shit ton of them. And then I found out in cleaning up the storeroom at my parents' place that, oh no, it turns out, and this was after a while because I'd amassed a bit of a backlog. Turns out that no, the box that had all my childhood Zoids in it that I thought had gotten thrown out had in fact not gotten thrown out. It was in fact at my parents' place in their storeroom. So I have in effect doubled my Zoids collection. Which, I mean, I can't complain about, but at the same time, it did make me feel a little bit silly. I mean, I don't regret it, and I got some pretty cool special edition ones I should build. Because I picked up, they did a release, they did an event a couple of years back, which was at a Japanese dinosaur museum, history museum, where they released 2 kits. It was a Genosaur and a Gun Sniper. I got the Genosaur, but they were Japan only exclusive, so I had to get it via an on-shipping site. But it's a Genosaur in bone colors, so it's bone and brown, and it looks really fucking good. So I should build that on stream, maybe. I've got the full Geno line. Well, the full Geno line you can... Oh, that's kind of a lie. So I have a Genosaur, I have that special Genosaur in bone, I have Geno Breaker, and I have Berserk Führer. If they release a Gairyuki, I might get it, but I've never been a huge fan of the Gairyuki. The Psycho Geno I'm also a little bit on, because it's literally just a Genosaur with a different head crest. So I'm like, okay, and it's blue, so I'm like, and like the other color variants, like Raven's Genosaur, where it's like, oh, it's a Genosaur with purple accents, or the regular Genosaur, which is just, it's the same Genosaur I have, but instead of in the cool bone colors, it's in like black and red. There are some other like special kits I want to pick up. I haven't got a Shield Lagger. I don't know if I want a Shield Lagger. I've never been a huge Shield Lagger fan. I want Leon's Blade Lagger, and I want Naomi Flugel's Gun Sniper if I can get my hands on them, because I was always a huge simp for Flugel team, and the Blade Lagger in red is the best look for it in my opinion. I want Harry Champ's Darkhorn. I have a Darkhorn, I have a Red Horn, I think I have, did I pick up a Green Horn? I can't remember. Literally the same fucking kit in different colors. Liz, how you doing? How you doing? I'm rambling about my model kits. That's right. I was sorely tempted to pick up a Koenig Wolf, but I couldn't justify it at the moment. Dredge. Well, how appropriate that your nickname is Dredge, because you got thrown in the deep end of the pool and then your roommate had to dredge for you. I hope you are dry and less soggy now. I hope that you have recovered from your ordeal in the aquatic environment. How is everyone this evening? Aside from, you know, soggy and potentially a bit drowned. Alright, there's our cockpit lid. I need the base plate. Where's the base plate? It's over here. It's over here. Thing you will learn about me as I work. So this is offset from my actual main sitting position at the moment. So this is me looking at the camera. This is me looking over here at my work area. I tend to put things just fucking everywhere. So you will see me be like reaching over here because I put things in random spaces. I also put things on my lap. I tend to have like a line of tools down my left leg where I just put things, which is great until I have to stand up and all my tools fall on the fucking floor. That's how. So see this. This is a Citadel mold line scraper. Yeah. Ah, Babu, how you doing? This is a Citadel mold line scraper. The whole point of this thing is for scraping off like scuff and mold lines without it being a knife. It's something that's blunt. I really like this thing because it's hard to stab yourself with it. And when I was working in retail for Games Workshop, these were great because we could sell these to people who were like teenagers who we couldn't sell knives to. Okay. Oh man. At least it was one of those, well, I'm assuming it was one of those life vests that turns your face up. But yeah, I really like these things. But believe it or not, I have stabbed myself in the foot with one of these. Because I had it on my lap, and then the phone rang, and I stood up to get the phone. This is back when I had a wired telephone. And this thing literally fell off, hit the ground, and went tonk into my foot like that. And the tip stabbed me in the sole of my heel. Yes, you do see the god hands, Liz. You may see them. I will permit Liz to witness the god hands. It was painful, Priz. By the way, how you doing, Priz? It fucking sucked, especially because I was A, it drew blood, and B, I was trying to like get to the phone whilst hobbling with a bleeding foot. Because it's not sharp. Like, it is not sharp. It is not sharp. It is fucking blunt, but somehow it bounced off the floor with enough velocity to puncture my heel. Yeah, see, I have all my fingers too, but I like to keep it that way. See? Ando finger reveal. Because again, this is why I like this thing, because of the fact that, like, it is hard to stab yourself with it, and it is hard to... Which thumb is it? I have a scar on one of my thumbs. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. No, I have a scar. I have a scar on one of my thumbs. From years ago, when I had... So I'd been drilling something, and the drill had gotten, like, I basically melted the plastic on the drill bit. So what I was doing was I had the drill bit, and I had, like, the drill bit in my hand, and I had the knife like this, and I was, like, scraping up towards my thumb, and I think, was it this thumb? I can't remember. I can't remember how I was doing it. I can't remember how I had this set up. But I basically did it, and was, like, I basically stabbed the knife into my thumb, read through it, scraped some more, stabbed it back into my thumb, and then went, oh, hang on a minute, that is in my thumb. Bit through it and was like, that is bleeding. Luna, how you doing? Welcome in. Yeah, so, I prefer things that are less inclined to stab me. Because sometimes when I'm not thinking correctly, I just go, yeah, sure, that going into my finger is fine. That reminds me, what bit do I need? I need the base plate. Base plate, very good. Alright, Liz, I'm taking away. God hand privileges are revoked. You know what, I'll bring them on camera and you can have a look at them. Yes, look at that. That smooth God hand action. They really are worth it. I ain't gonna lie to you, they really are worth it. They make life just so much easier with the cleanup. And where's that back area? There we go. Yeah, where's the front? Yeah, there we go. Put the base on, ta-da! We have once again another completed orb. There's a question. What wing goes where? 315 and 3. Okay, 315. Put that off. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna paint these tonight. I might undercoat them. They have some brush on primer. Oh, no, that's stuck. Okay, there we go. Well, they did come with some stickers too. Throw that down. Actually, where did I even put the stickers? I don't recall. Too bad. I do that with my Gundams as well. I almost never put stickers on my Gundams. Just like throw them away. Yeet. 19. Alright. Is numero 19. Well, hopefully that doesn't sound atrocious on camera. Anything large, thin, and flat resonates very strongly when you file it. There's a way to deal with it, I think. It's like, I saw it on a blacksmithing channel. It's like, in order to make things not screech horribly when you're filing them, you put it between, like, you get a piece of wood and you shape it so it's like two prongs, and you put it in between the two prongs. Twitch don't ban me. That was a technical, not anatomical representation. Apparently that reduces the amount of horrible shrieking. I wouldn't say I'm that brave. I've done a couple before. I like doing hand cams, mainly just because it means I can do things. I like doing things with my hands. I like making things, and it means I can show that off. It also helps that I have a new light. I was showing this off at the start of stream, but I have a new light, and so hang on. When I turn it off, things get very dim, and now there's suddenly shadows everywhere. Whereas if I turn this on and flashbang warning, yeah, now it's a much more well-lit scene. And also I can just see better, which is nice. Because Ando likes to see. Ando has old 30-year-old eyes and does not like to strain them. Oh wow. The molding on these wings is actually not great. That's interesting. It's really not smooth. There's a mold line around the whole perimeter, but I don't really want to deal with that. I don't know, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Is that cleaned up? I think it is. Scritch, 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 scritch. Alright, that's that done. But yeah, because I've done a couple of hand cam streams before. I've done a couple of painting ones. I did one where I was building a Saurus Old Blood on Carnosaur. That was because I'd agreed to play in a tournament that I'd forgotten about and was like, oh shit, I was going to build this and then I didn't. So I used streaming as an excuse to get it built. I also I built one of my Mulgars. I built the AA Mulgar. I did 2 streams for that. My Worm Son. Ooh, where did I even put my Worm Son? I think he's next door. I have my other worm son to build. Actually, I have another 3 worm sons to build. Because the thing is, the Mulgars are so small, they're a dual kit. They come with 2 each. So I have the Mulga Carrier and Mulga AA one, which I built the AA variant from. And then there's the Mulga and Mulga Artillery. Right, there's a Wingaling. Come on, go on. Oh, that's not joined together properly. Aha, it's upside down. That explains why. What you get when you have symmetrical wings. Okay. There is a 1-winged TIE fighter. There are my god hands. Oh. Anytime I get my god hands stuck, it's like one fear. Because one of the things they always tell you about them is like, don't twist them out of stuff because you'll damage the blades. I'm like, alright, here's the next one, free. Wait, and that's the other one. When earlier before Christmas, back in like I think October, I can't remember exactly when. Time escapes me, but I went to Hobbyco in Sydney, and on a whim picked up the real grade God Gundam kit because G Gundam absolutely fucking slaps. It's my favorite Gundam series probably. So I should probably do that on stream at some point as well. I want more G Gundam kits, like modern G Gundam kits. Give me my Gundam Tequila. Give me my Nether Gundam. Give me all the meme suits. Heck, even just an RG, like a real grade Rising Gundam would be appreciated. Alright, that's done. Now for the screechy scrape of the next wing. Yeah, as I was saying earlier, my problem is that my eyes are bigger than my stomach. I'm like, yeah, sure, I can build this. I can build this in no time at all, and it in fact turns into much time at all. It took me like, because one of the first kits I bought when I started working was the real grade Tall Geese, which I have next door, and maybe I'll grab it in a minute. We can have a look at it. But I really like the real grade Tall Geese, but oh man, it was a slog to build. It took me like 2 weeks to get that thing done. Now, to be fair, I didn't work on it every day, but it was just one of those things of like when I felt like it. But it still took a while. And then I made the foolish decision of dropping like a couple $100 to get Gojulus the Ogre. And holy shit, is that box big? It's in my cupboard. I still haven't built it because holy fuck is that thing big. Like it is boxes within boxes. You open the box of that thing and it has 3 boxes in it. Each one is like the size of a regular like large kit Zoid. Like a regular like I would say three Berserk Führers or 3 like Saber Fangs fit into that kit. He is a hefty boy. I bought it like 4 years ago and still haven't built it. I really should. I should do like a marathon build the Gojulus on stream. But I do have some other build stream plans. I fished out. I have an old Wood Elf Archer, one of the first models I ever got, and I wanna do like a paint stream. I want to do a stream where I'm like, hey, let's paint this guy in like old school, you know, GW bright colors, Goblin green base and everything. You can hear Ando talk about how much of an old man he is.
I remember when 8 of these in a box was $25.
Oh, woo. Alright, there we go. There's our TIE fighter. Alright, how do we set this base up? How do we set up the rebel base? Do you know what was a good game? Do you know what was a fucking fantastic game? Maybe I'll see if I can fish out a copy and play it on stream. Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds. It was a fucking great game. It was the Age of Empires engine. They basically took Age of Empires and Age of Empires 2 and reskinned it to be Star Wars. Such a fucking good game. Very enjoyable to play. Because like at base it had like what, 8 factions? Yeah, Galactic Battlegrounds. Hell yes. Because it was, I think it was what, like 8 factions? Let me just do a quick finger count. It was like Rebel Alliance, Gungans, Naboo, Wookiees, Empire, Battle Droids. No, I think maybe it was at 6. And then they added the clones, and I remember what the other one was they added with the expansion. I don't know, I'm feeling like I've missed a couple, but yeah, no, there was some really cool stuff you could get in that. I don't know, I really liked Gungans. Gungans were hilarious on water maps because their default buff was that all of their, wow, okay, the casting on this really isn't great. If it's on camera, it's showing up as like brown. There's a lot of brown in this. Yeah, the default Gungan thing was that all their marine craft, all their ships were underwater, which gave them stealth, which meant they were real dicks to fight against if you weren't running Gungans, because just all their ships were invisible until you got in the middle and they just pop up out of nowhere and you'd be like, oh fuck. Yeah, no, Galactic Battlegrounds was absolute king of a game. That's the thing I miss. I miss RTS games with a campaign. I talked about this before, like, and I know I say that a lot. I talked about this before, which is why you should come to more Ando streams. Hey Tate, how you doing? For those of you who don't know, the kit we are building tonight, the TIE Fighter Advanced and TIE Fighter set, were gifted to me generously as a Christmas present by Tate and his good wife, Tate Wife. So you have them to thank for this adventure. Which way does it go? Okay, it goes stand leaning forward. No, I have stand in. I have human stunt hands. Also, turtles don't have paws anyway. What am I, a dirty mammal? Filthy mammal degenerate. Alright, there we go. There's that part of the stand. What do I need? A 423, A1. Oh, I get it. Okay, interesting. Okay, this is an interesting setup. And I strongly suspect that this may come But I strongly suspect that there's just a TIE Fighter dual kit. Because how this works, right? So this mounts onto this mounting base, and these slots here, the TIE Fighter wing just literally just slides in there. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a kit somewhere. Ah, Danshies, welcome in. How you doing? I wouldn't be surprised if there's a kit of this, because all of the TIE Fighter parts were on one frame, and then all of the TIE advanced parts were on another frame. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a version of this kit that comes with just 2 TIE Fighters, and you just get both of them side by side, and you just put them on a little display stand like this, both side by side. No, not... Did I say Interceptor? Sorry, the X1. The X1. The Interceptor is the TIE Fighter with the funny, long, pointy wings. I should... No, fuck it. It's all in the spare room. I've got all my X-Wing stuff somewhere, and I could... You know what? I might do that. I might go into a TIE Fighter taxonomy. It's not cringe to talk about Star Wars, right? Let's just get these filed off, and then we can put it together. Yeah, and I'll see what I can do for the X1. I don't know if I can put the X1 on diagonally. Oh, I might be able to. Whoop. Knocking over my glue. Oh, actually, I think I can. Good suggestion, Tate. Yeet. Because this just plugs into this here, and it pivots. Oh, it freely pivots. Yes, it does. Look at that. Look at that pivot action. It's what you like to see, isn't it, chat? I know my audience. Alright, file that down. Exactly. Weak at the knees over some hinges. Salivating over some pivots. Degenerates, the lot of you. Degenerate engineers. Alright. So, in theory, this all goes together. Well, not in theory. According to the manual, that goes on there like that. Whoop, whoop, oh. It's falling over. It came from behind. So, that's supposed to go on like that. And then this is supposed to go on over here. We can get it lined up. Okay, that goes in like that. Oh, that wing's coming a little bit loose. And in theory, they counterbalance each other. Now let's see if Tate is right, and if I can in fact adequately balance. Oh, I might be able to. Yes, because I strongly suspect if I had a third TIE Fighter, what I can do is I can do the... So, if you're a nerd like me and you've watched A New Hope enough times, you'll see at the start of the trench run, well, not at the start of the trench run, but when Darth Vader intervenes in the trench run, he's flying like this. He's got a TIE Fighter either side of him, and he's flying at the lead point of the formation. So in theory, I reckon if I had an extra TIE Fighter, I could display them like that. But unfortunately, I cannot, because I don't have an extra one. So this is the best I can do for now. And that has somehow stuck itself in my mat. That's the best I can do for now. Ta-da! TIE Fighters. I do have some stickers I can put on things, but I don't think I will. I don't think I will put those on, because I think and they're not even stickers. I don't think. I think they're... No, they are stickers. They are stickers. What I think I will do eventually, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually, I'll probably undercoat these because I think bottle shaking ASMR. So that's a reasonably close gray. So I reckon I give brush on primer and yeah, brush on primer, some panel liner, and like maybe some Turbo Dork black ice just on the wing panels. I reckon it'll, yeah, make it look a lot more interesting. But for now, I'm gonna give you all some orb time, and I'll be back in a hot minute. That's not what I need. Where is the orb? The orb. So, I was like, maybe I'll go fish out my X-Wing stuff, and I can do, like... Any ponders in chat? Of course there are ponders in chat, Mike. Everyone should be pondering in chat. But yeah, I was like, I'll go check my boxes and see if I can fish out my X-Wing stuff. And I can be like, hey, what's good in the hood? What's all these different types of TIE fighters? And then I looked at the piles, and it turns out that the box of all the X-Wing stuff is at the very bottom of the pile. And that pile is like an entirely load-bearing pile. Like, if I move that, everything collapses, and I die, and it's horrible. So, no, I will not get out my box of X-Wing stuff. Instead, I'm going to move this up and away, and knock it over, and just, you know what, just fuck my shit up entirely. Just fucking into the sea with all of it. No, instead, I'm gonna bring out my current project. Steam Tank number 4. Actually, no, this one's 3. This one's Steam Tank number 3. So, this is part of what I'm currently working on for my new Age of Sigmar project. This is number 3 of 8. I have built 2 currently. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Monkey / Robin Williams arms. These are normal hands, right? These are normal hands belonging to a normal person. Anyone without this is some form of, like, cave-dwelling Morlock, right? Someone's like they're fucking Harkonnens with like no skin or fur of any kind. This is entirely normal. All right, where did I put my non-god? You know what? Fuck it. I'm not gonna use the god hands. But let me just yeet all of this sprue into the sun. I'm done with you. I no longer need you. God hands up there. Ando needs to clean up his desk so he has more free space. Of course I'll be laughing when the nuclear winter comes. I'll be the one who instigated it. That's right, I need that as well. Oh yeah, so hobby hack that I picked up from Uncle Adam at Mini Wargaming Channel, whatever they're called. No, Tabletop Minions, that's it, Tabletop Minions. So, wonderful, wonderful hack. You see this? Wow, okay, this looks way more blue. It's actually supposed to be more of a greeny color. Hang on, let me turn off my light again. It is dark. No, that's not even close to it. It's really much more of a green. This really gets washed out. Anyway. Flashbang incoming. Yeah, so this is a fidget toy. This is one of those, like, bubble popper fidget toys. Fantastic paint palette. Because all the paint dries in it. They're silicone. No, not the one who sings original. At least, I don't believe so. But yeah, so see how all the paint's dried in this one? If you want to get it out, you just go like that, and it all just satisfyingly decrusts. And then you can, like, wash it. It is phenomenal for cleaning. The only downside is, as far as I'm aware, I can't use oils in it. I can't use anything with alcohol. Oh yeah, and it cost me like $8. I saw that and was just like, because previously I've been using, I can fish it out. No, I can't. I don't even know where it is. I had an old paint palette that I've been using, but all the wells were full of like crusted on paint. Excellent. I fished out the Cliffy boys. Yeah, I love shit like that. I love it when people are like, oh, by the way, if you just do this with this, it just works. It just works. Thank you, Tate. That was entirely necessary. With a K. I mean, that's fair. I'll need to have a look at it. What is it? Original, okay. Because I mean, like, there's more than a few of those songs where I'm like, look, Ando, you're a bit of a hack, you know this, but you're not creatively bankrupt yet. I remember, so back in like 2011, 2010-ish, which, oh geez, that was a long time ago. But back when like Kesha had her first era of success, right? Because I actually quite like Kesha. I actually think her music, her new stuff is actually quite good. But back when Kesha first started out, Nito by 3 Loco. Fun fact, I actually showed my brother 3 Loco on the weekend, and he jammed with it. He enjoys Riff Raff, so he was like, that is a vibe. Yeah, my brother was just like, oh yeah, okay, I'm on board with this, because he showed me this other thing. What are they called? Like edamame. And then there's another project which is like I think one of the rappers is called like Baby No Money or something, but it's written like BBNO $. But it's him and another guy who do some quite interesting songs. They have one called You'll Need Jesus. That's quite good. But it's, yeah, kind of similar vein to 3 Loco. But where was I going? But yeah, do you remember when like Kesha had her first wave of success with like TikTok and stuff like that, and like a G6 and all that sort of stuff. Was she like a G6? I can't remember. Yeah, that was her. You know, the party don't stop till I walk in. There were a lot of people who tried to become successful by doing that similar style of music, that like club sound. The lyrics are about getting absolutely like smashed or whatever, and having lots of money and buying up the entire stock of alcohol or whatever. Like, you know, all derivative. And there was this particular song by this two who were basically like Kesha knockoffs. I cannot remember what they were called, or maybe I'll track it down. But the song was called Millionaires. And yeah, it's one of those songs where I look at that and I'm like, this is my manifestation of utter creative bankruptcy. Anytime I feel like, Ando, you're creatively bankrupt, I'm like, no, I haven't reached that level yet, so I'm good. I have not written a song about how I'm a millionaire and everyone wants to party with me because I'm a millionaire, and we fuck up the hotel room because I'm a millionaire. And also sometimes it's just a matter of time. Like Louis Theroux, his rap when originally delivered was not good, but when remixed is actually pretty good. My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle, push door. Cruising in my Fiat, you really ought to see it. 6'4" in a compact, no slack. Oh, so they were the girl group Millionaires. Okay, maybe I was right. Because yeah, there do be some memories like that where you're like, I had forgotten about this until someone prompted me to remember that was even a thing. Like, dredging even further back, you all remember Willow Smith. You remember one of Will Smith's many children, Willow Smith, with her evocative hit about whipping her hair back and forth. That's the turret base done, I think. Just got to clean up some other little bits so it fits together nice. See, the thing that's funny though, right, with pop music, and Tate will probably have opinions on this because Tate is actually a talented musician who can play music, as opposed to Ando, who just has opinions on things because Ando is a hack. But no, I feel like there's some pop music that like is wasted as pop music. It is far better when people remix it into other genres. Great example, Tommy Johansson, who is one of the guitarists from Sabaton, but also quite a competent solo artist in his own right. He has a YouTube channel where he's done a bunch of covers of different songs, and he did a cover of Taylor Swift's Anti-Hero, which I actually think is a decent song. But he did a power metal cover of it, and it is so much better as power metal. Like, that song improves 900% as power metal. And another one is the Indian metal group Bollywood. They did a bunch of pop covers. So they did Rockstar by Post Malone. They did Humble by Bloodywood. That's it, Bloodywood. Thank you, Tate. Because as you know, whilst streaming, I say words that do not make sense, and I require you, good people in the audience, to translate for me. Yeah, Bloodywood's, like, all their early stuff is good, but their first album, is it Rajak? Let me check. Their first album's really good. It's a solid one. What is it? No, it's not Arj. Arj was the single. No, I don't think he's Post Malone. I think he's ex-Post Malone. It's the time after he's died is the Post Malone, but he personally is ex-Post Malone. Or the late Post Malone. Bloodywood. What's their first album? Yeah, it's Rock Shock. That's it. Yeah, no, they're solid. The corpse formerly known as Post Malone. But I mean, apparently that was the whole thing with Prince. Like, the reason why he did the artist formerly known as Prince thing was because he left a record label or something, and they were like, well, you can't call yourself Prince because we own the rights to the name Prince. So he was like, cool, I'll just be the artist formerly known as Prince. Like, I can't use my name, I don't care. Okay, I'll need to check that one out. I haven't seen it. Apparently, who was it? Someone recently did a cover of War Pigs, and apparently it's been well received to the point where Ozzy Osbourne was like, yeah, it's probably the best cover of War Pigs out there. Which, I mean, Ozzy's getting on a bit and is relatively senile at this point, so I don't know if that's actually saying much for it, but I'll at least give it a look. I do like Electric Callboy. I find some of their songs to be a little bit hit and miss. Like, they'll drop an absolute banger, and then they'll drop one where I'll be like, eh, and then they'll drop another absolute banger. What's it called? What are those? Oh, T-Pain, that's it. T-Pain. Yeah, T-Pain. Which is weird, because, like, I know T-Pain is a good artist, but all I can ever think about T-Pain is back in the era when he was just entirely auto-tune. Like, you know, the Lonely Island On a Boat era. Man, now, On a Boat, now that was a fucking song of its era. I remember, and, Tate Wife may actually be able to verify this. Was it 2010? No. Yeah, it was 2010 Dragon Skin, because it was after I'd met Tate Wife. Yeah, 2010 Dragon Skin, Bok 3. So for those of you who don't know, in the reputable enterprise of scouting, that's right, Ando was a Boy Scout. So Ventura Scouts, which is like 15 to 18, there is a camp that we do in New South Wales called Dragon Skin. It's over the Easter holidays. It's like a 3-day hike and activities thing. And part of it is you plan out your own approach. You hike, like, to wherever you want to go to do whatever activities you want to do, and overnight you stay at what are called VOCs. It's VOC, it stands for Venture Overnight Camp. And the different VOCs are, I mean, I appreciate the pun, Tate, but you're fucking wrong. Scouting didn't really help me come out of my shell. I was the same Ando I always was, with or without scouting. If anything, I brought the curse of my existence to scouting. But I was lucky because I did meet Tate Wife, and through Tate Wife, then Tate. Yes. But yes, so yes, Tate Wife has continued with scouting things. It's one of the few things that I think she's unwise in that regard. I consider Tate Wife to be an exceptionally smart person, except for the fact that she still does scouting stuff, just because scout politics are a fucking curse. Okay, there's the turret done. Ooh. Yeah, see, exactly. There is drama. I'm not surprised that there's drama. There's always fucking scout drama. Point that I was getting to, though, was, yeah, last dragon skin I went on, which Tate Wife was also present for, and I'm pretty sure she was at the same VOC as me that night. Second day, which was VOC 3, I think. We wake up at 6 in the morning, because they do it like a wake-up call to wake up everyone in the VOC, so you can get ready and get breakfast and get the fuck out, for a full day of activities. And so that VOC, because all the VOCs are themed, this VOC was like cruise ship themed, like nautical themed. Like when we came in at night, they gave us all like flower lays and stuff. So at 6 in the morning, they play a fucking ship's foghorns, big brrr, followed by the opening riff and full song of The Lonely Islands, I'm on a Boat. And I kid you not, there was probably between 70 to 120 venturers there that night, and like in the morning you could just hear this chorus of like sleepy venturers in their tents mumbling along to I'm on a boat, motherfucker, don't you ever forget. Like, it was just one of those amazing cultural phenomenons of just everyone knew the lyrics by that point, so even half asleep we were just mumbling along like I'm on a boat and it's going fast and I got a nautical theme, Pashmina Afghan. Whoop, that was too much. That was too much glue. This is one of the cool things about Tamiya Extra Thin, is that you can run it into like cracks like this, and it'll just run into the cracks and like kill it. This gap filling excellent, I think. I wish I could gap fill the voids in my brain that lead to silent spaces on the stream after I've voided my brain from rambling about whatever nonsense I've been rambling about. Where are we? Okay, cool. I think that is sufficiently gap filled. I can clean up all the other stuff later, like that unfortunate spill right there, but that's okay. Turret basket. Actually, this is a weird thing as well. So this is an older Games Workshop kit. This is like circa 2008-ish, 2009. This really shows you the difference in the way they thought back in the day, in that the interior of this thing, if you can see, is fully detailed. Like, there is a wood grain in the floor there. Welcome back, Luna. So, like, yeah, this thing is entirely detailed, even though when it's done, you won't be able to see any of that. Because that was the absolute, like... I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing, but they used to do that back in the day where they're like, hey, we're just going to make every model have full interior detail. And that way, if you want to, you can build it as a diorama. You can have it, like, blown up, or you can have it, like, you know, taken apart a little bit so you can show a diorama on the inside, which is great for diorama builders, but for 99% of people who use it, they'll just build it and you'll never see it. Whereas nowadays you get the controversy like the Rogel Dawn, where they're like, oh hey, in order to fit more guns on the sprue, we have a hole in the bottom of it, because none of you ever look at the bottom of the tank, and everyone gets mad about it. Avatar, who are you doing, Ando, really? What are you doing coming into my stream and calling yourself dad? You know there's only one daddy here, and that's me. How you doing, Avatar? Are you enjoying your Tuesday? It is Tuesday. Thank you, Tate. You're getting your money's worth tonight, aren't you?
And his name is John Cena.
Well, I mean, there are no limits to test on the timer, Tate. Like, I think it's a 5-minute timer. I'll need to check. Maybe I'll tweak it, but I didn't want it to be too obnoxious. I want it to come as a surprise to people. Maybe one day, maybe for the anniversary stream, I'll take the timer off, but I'll put the timer down to like the bare minimum it can go, and we can just spam flashbangs for the evening. Should actually probably change my stream description.
Great job.
Great job. 5-minute alarm. No, just get a bot. Set a 5-minute bot macro that's just like redeem this every 5 minutes. Ki. No, because I remember back in the day, and this was part of the reason why I put the timer on it, was so Juniper Actius, one of her old things was she had a redeem which was like a moth. It was like the baby moth, and there was a like so the baby moth would appear on the screen, and then a boot would appear and go boom, and just kick. Oops. Hey Avatar, you just reminded me of something. Give me like 2 seconds. Chat, gomenasai. I forgot to turn on tits, so give me like 10 seconds to turn on Twitch integrated throwing system, and then I will refund Avatar's yeet. Where is it? Where is it? Where's activity feed? Requests queue. There we go. How do I refund? Reject. I think. Oh. Okay, did that do it? I think it did. It did. Flat is justice. Yes, I fixed that. Also, I need to note down that Tate had a wonderful suggestion yesterday of I should talk to Mr. Blue and be like, hey, make me some flashbangs. Why are the eggs wearing my jacket? That is a great question. For that we would need to ask Boyson. So, Easter last year, the wonderfully talented Mr. Blue, who you should check out on Twitter. Let me just Twitter. Mr. Blue. Yes, I will go check out the wonderfully talented Mr. Blue. So back Easter last year, Mr. Blue did some like Easter eggs themed on different VTubers, and Sin was kind enough to be like, hey, could you make one of Ando? So there is a little me. We're no longer in a helium shortage. I mean, that is good news. How did we solve that one, Mike? Like, where did they find more helium? Fun fact: have you seen the American helium storage facility in like, I think it's in like Texas or Arkansas or something like that. It's like down the south part of America. I found that really fascinating because it's essentially it's a bunch of porous rock that used to contain natural gas, and they extracted all the natural gas and were like, okay, we've pumped out all this methane, we have no use for this porous rock. Actually, wait a minute, yes we do. So it's basically they took all that old porous rock and they used mechanical systems to pump helium into it. So it leaks helium, but it leaks helium at an acceptably low rate that they're like, hey, this is the federal helium reserve. And it contains, it's something stupid, it's like 700 gigaliters of helium or something. but it's good that we're not in a helium shortage because we need that for MRI machines and also for party balloons. I don't know, party balloons break my heart because party balloons are like, they're a waste of helium and they're bad for the environment, but the small part of me that finds whimsy acceptable, because I don't really like whimsy very much, but the small part of it that does is like, oh, but party balloons are just, they're for parties, and parties are such a good time, you know? It's like theme parks. I've talked about this before. I don't really enjoy theme parks, but I love the idea of a theme park. Yeah, okay. That's good, I think, maybe. I don't know. I mean, like, the problem is, like, we will eventually run out of helium. Because the problem with helium is it is so light that it essentially expands into the outer atmosphere and then leaves the atmosphere. Tate. Don't make me ban you again. I've already done it once this week. Roll fucking credits. But yeah, I think I've talked about this before, but like, I love the idea of theme parks, but I don't really like theme parks. There's not much I enjoy going to a theme park, but I love the idea of, here is a whole place, and like, yeah, the food's overpriced, blah, 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 all the things Ando could complain about. But I just love the idea of like, here is a place whose sole and whole intention is for people to come and have a good time. It's the same with birthday parties. It's like, birthday parties were a bourgeois invention of like the Victorian period, but at the same time, what a wonderful idea to have a day where we just all celebrate the fact that one of us exists, right? What a wonderful thing that there's one day a year. I mean, there should be more, but there's at least one day a year when everyone is socially obligated to celebrate the fact you exist. Alright, that's that done. Clean up the turret lid, we can get that on. Or as some would call it, the hatch. It's like Bunnings, but with less vomit. Yeah, I guess. I don't know, I've never encountered particularly much vomit at Bunnings. I tell you though, so a couple of guys... Bunnings World, hardware themed, yeah. The amusement park for dads. Dads and lesbians. What is it? It's the Ace Hardware is the native environment of, I can't remember, there was a thing about this, it was like a taxonomy of like the different hardware stores in the US, and it was like the treaty between the dads and the lesbians over who got which hardware store. Lowe's, that's it. Lowe's and Ace Hardware. I don't know, I have some guys I work with who, when they were teenagers, worked at Bunnings, and they have some absolutely fucking wild stories. Like, absolutely buck wild shit. So like, for instance, one of them was telling us about how when you work at Bunnings, one of the jobs that they can give you sometimes is what's called gate duty. Depends on which Bunnings you're working at. But basically, gate duty was, they have a security gate out the back, which is for the tradies. So like, the tradies can come in with their ute and like load up bags of concrete or whatever, instead of having to go through the front like a regular customer, because like tradies will be like, oh, I need like 12 bags of concrete. So it's an absolute pain for them to like lug that all the way through the store out to their ute, so they can just bring their ute around the back and grab it. But everyone knows tradies are shady as fuck, and so the point of having a gate guard at the back is so that like you have someone who's on staff watching to make sure that they're like, what they're taking is what they've put down as their invoice. And so he had like a dude who came around once who was like, yeah, I'm just getting this like bits of lumber. And then he opened the dude's boot, and the guy had like 8 bags of concrete that he hadn't put on the invoice. And he was like, so man, you got all this like concrete in here, you're gonna fucking pay for it? Yeah, basically. Very close, Tate. But no, there was another story about a guy who tried to steal a fucking air compressor. And basically what he did was he to the life of me, I still don't understand how he thought this was a good idea. But what he did was he oh no, I have a story for you about stealing the trailer. No, so what this guy did was he took an air compressor into the men's toilets along with a literal toilet, right? A literal toilet that he'd taken off the shelf, because Bunnings sells toilets, obviously, like porcelain and plumbing supplies. So he'd taken a toilet and an air compressor. So the toilet was worth maybe like a couple $100. The air compressor was worth like a couple $1,000. And so what he'd done was he'd taken the air compressor out of its box, he'd taken the toilet out of its box, and put the air compressor in the box with the toilet, as it is like basically trying to pass one off as the other. And he got caught, but they were like trying to figure out, like, where did he swap this out? Where did he swap this out? And then he checked the men's toilets, and there was literally just a random toilet just sitting in the middle of the room, and they were like, that's where he swapped out the other toilet. Just buck wild shit. Because you think, who the fuck thinks they're gonna get away with this? Because there are some people who are serial Bunnings thieves. There are some people that were like, oh yeah, we knew this dude like used to steal all the fucking time. But yes, what Tate is alluding to, so where I work at a steel mill, for those of you who don't know. And this was before my time, but back in the day, we used to sell scrap, right? People used to be able to come around just to buy scrap steel. So we had a scrap yard. You could go to the scrap yard and buy scrap from the scrap yard. And we'd basically just charge on weight, right? We'd weigh it and go, cool, you've got X 100 kilos of steel, that's X money, pay us your money and leave. We also had a fab shop, and the fab shop would make things that we would sell. And one of those things that we would sell were trailers for cars. So they just, weld some steel together, because they have steel from the mill or from the plate mill or whatever. We'd weld some steel together, put an axle in there, bing bang bong, there's your trailer. All right. But what people used to do is they used to go around to the behind the fab yard where they kept the trailers that they made. They would hitch a trailer up to their car, go around to the scrap yard, load $100 worth of scrap into their trailer, go to the weigh bridge, weigh their trailer and go, yep, that's $100 worth of scrap, pay $100 for the scrap, and drive off with a brand new trailer, which was worth like, $500. So much shit used to get stolen. Let's see, does this fit? Oh, nice. That's a very nice fit. Excellent. Turret on. What else have we got to grab? Actually, I might change my stream. That's my blah blah blah. What do I want to call this? There we go. There's an update. Done. We're now in the Warhammer category. I don't know why my camera suddenly zoomed in. Excellent. All right, we have a turret on. What else do I need? I need all the filigree and shit. So these are gonna go. Whoop, if you can see them, the weird griffiny things. They're gonna go on the sides. most of these I've built with the decor on them. I'm thinking the next batch of, after I do the commander for this force, so my force is 2 quartets, so it's a steam tank commander and 3 tanks in support. I'm thinking when I do the next grouping, I might actually, instead of putting these on, because as you can see on the side, it's got all these nubs for where the stuff's supposed to go. I might just clip those off and file them flush, and just have some with bare steel along the sides. Because I do love the decorations, but it kind of looks a bit weird when all of them have the same deco. And I have seen a couple of examples where people have done that. They've not put the shields on, and they've done like decor on the sides. I mean, I'm used to them being more sci-fi too. I have some other sci-fi tanks sitting around. Actually, let me grab the walker. It's literally on the shelf above me. I don't need that sprue anymore. Put that over there. Don't knock everything over. So it's my walker from Archon. It's basically a big Sentinel ATST looking thing. Whoop. I forgot that the legs still moved on that thing. Yeah, it is weird. Maybe I could do something about that one day. But I don't have arm tracking because I'm cheap. And also, VTube Studio hand tracking is a bit weird, and also I don't have... You need hand trackers. You need to actually wear a thing on your hand for it to track. If you do full tracking, if you're an absolute lunatic like Zentreya or what is it all getting stuck on? I don't know. If you're an absolute mad lad like Zentreya or like Code Miko or something like that, they have like full body tracking, like all the way down to their fingers. But all that stuff tends to be more like VR, and I do not have the space VR. I have too much junk. I would run into things. But yes, the point I was getting at, so I have the walker from Archon. I also have the Archon Wolverine tank sitting next door, which is basically like a off-brand GW Chimera. It actually looks pretty good. I like it, but I just have not got around to building it. I have some other stuff I could probably fiddle around with on stream at some point. Actually, where is it? I got this little guy, little baby dragon. That was another Archon one. Oh, I got the bear. So Archon released a set with, I think it was the first Dungeons and Lasers release, which was called the Druid. It was right, and it's all like animal companion models. And this is the bear. It's in a little space suit, and it's got a little babu in a space suit on the top, and it's fucking adorable. I did actually paint the goblin though. Where is he? I think I showed this guy up on stream once before. He's the He-Man goblin. I'll see if can I get close enough of the camera to show the sparkles. He has sparkles on his sword. What game is it? Literally agnostic. So Archon don't produce games. Archon produce like stuff for games. So for instance, one of the things they produce is this is Rampart. This is their like modular terrain. So this is for like Warhammer. So you can put a bunch of those together and build walls and stuff in buildings. But they also have another product called Dungeons and Lasers, which is designed for making like D&D style adventure dungeons, like, you know, and for that they released a bunch of like so the first two were just new dungeons, and then they added some like extra, just like, hey, here's some miniatures for it. And then I think the third or fourth release they did was called Woodhaven, and it was all fantasy themed. and it was all like, here is a whole bunch of just generic like town villager and like mayor of the town and like bandits and town guards, because the whole idea was to just have a bunch of generic agnostic miniatures for you to do D&D or any other game system with. Which I didn't really buy into it because I'm like, I don't need more miniatures. I know, shocking thing to hear Ando say. But also, it was like, yeah, I don't really need a bunch of generic miniatures. I did pick up some of the Woodhaven stuff though, mainly the buildings. And as part of that, I got some free models as well. So I got... Was that part of Woodhaven or was it part of a different one? But I got, if I can fish it down from the shelf above me, got a couple of different things. Yeah, random NPCs, exactly, Avatar. They also, they released a Witch Hunter model that I got. I wasn't a fan of it because it's sculpted to what I would call real scale, which means the sword is absolutely fucking tiny and looks stupid. That's the thing that people give Games Workshop shit about, where they're like, oh, their swords are really big, they're out of scale, and it's like, yes, because they're models, you have to make them out of scale, otherwise the swords are toothpicks and they break and they look shit. Let me put that down. Hang on, let me... You may observe the model doing some strange things. Do not be alarmed. So, cool idea, but more minis, exactly. No, but again, like, if you're someone who just plays Dungeons and Dragons, being able to be like, hey, buy this box and it contains an entire village's worth of minis, and it's like a bunch of generic people and like some town guards and like the town thief and some beggars and stuff like that. For a D&D player, like who just plays D&D, great idea. For someone like me who just has far too many minis anyway, terrible idea. So here's some other minis that I got with the release. Here is one of the dragons. They sculpted a bunch of dragons. This was the one that I picked. It was one of the more generic ones because I liked that. There was like one that was like a ghost dragon. There was one that was like more of a xenomorph looking dragon. There was one that had 3 heads. So there's this one. I should probably get around to painting it at some point. I have an idea of how I want to paint it. I want to use metallic red. And then there was this other one, which was the green dragon. Well, I want to paint it green. But this one, the more Shenron looking one. This one actually had an option to put wings on it, but I didn't like the wings. I like it better just as like a more traditional Chinese style, you know, long dragon. Oh, let me just put this back up on my shelf. Oh yeah, and actually that's the other one. The gelatinous cube. It's a gelatinous cube with a little dude sticking out the front, ready to come and fuck you up. Love me some gelatinous cube. Have I tried ink over metallics? Short answer, no. Long answer, no, but I know what it does. Slightly longer answer, no, but my brother recently acquired for me at Christmas these. These are alcohol inks. Alcohol inks are interesting because you can kind of use them like an oil wash, as far as I can tell with minis. I haven't seen much info on using them, but I picked up some thinner for them and I'm going to try them out at some point because I reckon that one will make a really nice rust effect. But yeah, I know what inks... So inks, acrylic inks over metallics, you can use them as a color filter because the difference between ink and a paint is that a paint is granules of pigment in a medium, whereas ink is a liquid pigment medium. Like it is medium and pigment all in itself, basically. Which means that inks are transparent. So what you can do is you can go paint a silver down and then paint a blue ink over it and it makes it metallic blue. I have not really tried it. I might eventually. The only problem with that is that inks can sometimes be very strong. I have used inks before, but yeah, not really as color filters. And this part of the stream's gonna get muted anyway because I've got Coheed and Cambria playing, and Twitch is a stickler for muting that, even though it's a banger of a song. Absolute fucking banger of a song. Let's get this cleaned up. But yes, no, inks is on my list of to do. So is oil washers. The problem is just time, and well, the other problem with particularly oil washers is you need thinner and you need other stuff. I actually have picked up some thinner, but it's still a pain. It's like, and also drying time. Like oil paints blend fucking phenomenally. Yeah, but well, here's the thing, Avatar, right? You can do blue ink over silver, which again I'm sure looks great. But here's what you can also do. Once I just finish scraping this, open the drawer of magic. Dark Star Metallic Sapphire. That one's quite good. I also have Double D by Turbodork, which actually interesting. Turbodork just announced they're reworking their formula, so hopefully it works better on a brush, and it doesn't fucking die. Because like, where are we? Where's my Turbodork? All right. So, Turbodork Merple. It's a metallic purple, right? You can see all the pigments consolidated on the bottom. It's all white up the top. I'll take it away and shake it. You can hear the ball rattling, the agitator. Okay. Now all the pigment's redistributed. It's all nice and even. And in theory, if I put this on a palette, it would be nice and useful. Alright? Supermassive, which is one of their turbo shifts. It changes color. It goes from like a gold through to a red. Right, as you can see, pigment's kind of consolidated down the bottom. Right, I'll give it a shake. You can kind of hear the ball moving. It's not really moving a lot, but it's looking a bit more even now, right? Sweet Dreams, which unfortunately they don't make anymore. It was like a purpley, bluey color. You can see it's all speckled and fucky, right? If I shake this, you can't hear the ball rattling. It just makes this fucking sludge noise. And the color has not changed. It's all fucking speckly. Because this, if I open it up, I can guarantee you will be like sludge. It will be useless. And that's because unfortunately, Turbodork paints have a really short shelf life. Part of it's because of the medium they use has problems if it freezes, which means often when it's shipped by air, it'll freeze and then cause problems later. Yeah, Dark Star Sapphire. I used that on my Night Quester. So I'll bring up the camera a little bit. So yeah, the base coat's Sapphire, highlighted with the other blue, which I can't remember, and then highlighted with silver. So he now has like a really dark blue silver. Yes, I am using the nice new model light. Regarde, if I turn it off, everything now becomes dim and less well lit, and there are fucking shadows everywhere. Thank you for letting me know that my little sword man looks nice. And now if I turn the light on, flashbang warning. And now it's back. And now there is less shadow. And everything looks better. But yes, as opposed to using inks, that was starting from a dark blue base with a very nice metallic and working up. So it was that, followed by Aquamarine. That's their other paint, Aquamarine. Well, I mean, it's not just a model light, it's just a light. Well, I mean, it's a light for models and other creative purposes, but it's a really good lamp. I can adjust the brightness on it. Hang on. See, I can dim it down, but I have seen little value in that, so let me just crank it back up. I have not seen much value. The only problem is when I turn it off, I get briefly blinded. I'm like, I can't see, because all the light from the room is gone. Tate, that is not snarky, right? I have known both you and Tate wife for a significant amount of time. That is not snarky, or in at least it is not snarky in any way which would actually offend me. I should have figured that. I should have guessed it. The apology should have been the giveaway. Sorry. Tate left the computer unattended, and now Tate wife is here to harass the poor turtle on the internet. Identity theft is rampant. This is as bad as when we played Jackbox on the weekend and he stole my identity. Almost outing me to a room full of people. Alright, I think I don't know what I'm doing. That's what I think. Oh yeah. Not requiring an answer. How was scouting thing, Tate wife? How was, from what I hear, scouting drama? I am not painting. I am currently building. I'm building a steam tank. I built TIE fighters. The TIE fighters have been built. The gift. Alright, that's how the scouting thing was. TIE fighter gift has been built. TIE fighter gift may be painted in the near future. TIE fighter gift is now falling over. But now I am building tank number 3 of 8. I have 8 steam tanks to build. But I was also discussing painting. No, it was great. It was one of those things. Do I prime before assembly or after? Good question, Avatar. In this case, after, because there's no value in priming it before. Most things I prime after. Some cases, like the new Legion Imperialis stuff, because it's really small. I think there's value in priming that. The problem with priming before assembly with a lot of stuff is that you then have to scrape the prime off anyway to put the glue on. So it basically means you're just adding extra work of having to scrape things. But I can see why in certain circumstances people would see some value in it. Mainly just convenience. So alright, here's a good comparison, right? Good, and also good question. So this is a regular sized Space Marine, yeah? Regular sized Space Marine, approximately 32 millimeters tall, yeah? Even though he's kneeling. A Legion Imperialis Space Marine, because the game scale is different, a Legion Imperialis Space Marine would actually be roughly this big, right? So they're like a fraction of the size, right? A Legion Imperialis Space Marine is, I think, 12 millimeters high, off the top of my head. So because they're all so tiny, handling them like one by one to prime them is a real pain. But because they come on the sprue, and when they're on the sprue, so imagine this is a Legion Imperialis sprue. They're basically all lined up. They're all in a line, so it means you can just be like, shh, and just spray them all. And you're like, yeah, that's fair, Avatar, if it works for you. I don't. Part of it's also just because I'm lazy, and I'm like, I would like to have my models out and ready and built, because I like building. Have them out, ready, and built, and then I can just put them on the table grey and be like, yeah, sure, I'm going to paint them, and then never do. Yeah. I mean, I have been tempted to fuck with that and be like, you know what, I'm gonna bring Karakodons because the Karakodon's Astra color scheme is mostly grey, and just be like, yeah, look, my models are 3-color standard. I have 3 colors of grey. Base color, base color Skavenblight Dinge highlight. No, sorry, base color Skavenblight Dinge, layer Mechanicum standard grey, highlight Storm Vermin Fur. Egads, quickly make your escape while you still can. It was good talking to you, Tate Wife. I know you never will, but make your own Twitch account and come hang out. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed the elusive Tate Wife. One of my bestest friends in the whole world, along with Tate. Thank you for the appropriate redaction. They will never know. They must never know my secret identity. Or it would only disappoint them. Ah, great. Now I'm gonna have to cancel Tate Wife. Hang on. Had to do it to him. But for misogyny. Why is there so much damn ribbon and shit? I mean, look, I wouldn't be surprised if she did. But no, Tate Wife has pretty openly said to me before, she's like, it's cool that you're doing the whole Twitch thing, but I will not watch it because I do not have the time. I do not have the time or the spoons, and I'm like, I accept this. Thank you for your words of encouragement. And thank you for being honest that no, you will not watch it. You are better off. Because I kind of talked about this at Sin's anniversary stream, and I will talk about it more on the 24th of February, which is my affiliate anniversary. But basically, I didn't actually tell... Tate Wife, how accurate you are. I mean, yeah, I know you haven't kept up with recent events. How accurate you are considering the recent debacle over titties on Twitch. But yeah, I talked about this a bit before, and I will talk about it in more depth on the 24th. But when I started streaming, I actually very deliberately didn't tell any of my friends that I was starting streaming. Tate found out by accident. I still don't know how Farm found out. I have my suspicions. But yes, it was not out of any kind of level of embarrassment, but it was mainly because of the fact that streaming was supposed to be a thing where I learned how to interact with people who weren't my friends, and if it was just my friends, it'd be my friends showing up and we just meme on all the, you know, shit we usually meme about in our friendship circle. And so at this point, I don't mind my friends showing up. Nah, it's not an issue, Tate. You found out by accident, but I actually learned something from that, so it was a good learning experience. I will talk about it in more detail. It was my fault, but it was one of those things where it was like, this is acceptable and I can deal. Actually, no, to be fair, I did tell Farm that I was streaming. I just didn't tell him the details, because I knew previously that he actually wasn't a fan of VTubers. He's a bit like me. He's a bit old school. We never really used to like streamers very much because of the fact that like we used to watch people like Robars or the Mighty Jingles or even Moist Critical before he streamed when he was on YouTube, where it would just be like a video game stuff with a track over the top of them talking. Like there was no face cam. And I remember Farm had previously been like, yeah, I don't watch streamers. I find having the thing in the corner moving around distracting. Yes, decaf. Yes, all 8 steam tanks. Ah, fuck. Why is there always fucking glue everywhere? Fucking... Now I can't touch it because it's got glue on it. Yes, decaf. The 8 steam tank army slowly approaches. It's going to be such a fucking meme when it's done. Oops. That's not entirely a bad thing. No. For the affiliate stuff, probably not. No, the affiliate stream... Alright, I'm gonna spoil the secret. The affiliate stream is that I've commissioned a model for Tate. I am now dragging Tate into being a VTuber. The Hawaiian shirted Tate model will be released on the 24th. No, this is a fucking joke. That is not happening. I am planning a couple of things. I'm probably gonna talk... Well, I have a new model that's coming. I think it's going to be ready by then, so I'll probably debut it then. If you want to see that decaf, ask Nagi. I have shown Nagi the model, along with Liz and Sin. So there are ways to see it. It'll probably drop around about then. It's not a huge shakeup. It's not a 2.0 to this one. It's like a side. It's an alternate. So we'll be seeing that. I was probably gonna do some talking about VTubing in general and like the year in review. Not quite the same what Sin did. I'm not gonna be doing like clip review or anything like that. It's gonna be like, I hate the word debut, but it's gonna be like a, hey, here's why we're here, here's what I'm doing, here's some explanations into the mind of madness that is Ando. Like, why is there this strange turtle here talking to us? After that, I'm not sure what I might do. I might do some games. There's a couple of quick fun ones that I've found recently that are free that I might give a crack. But I wasn't planning on doing a big collab or anything, but we'll see. I might get some people to join me. Maybe I will do some stuff with Tate. I don't know. I need to figure some stuff out more. Because I want it to be a fun time, but I'm not investing too much into it. I'm not getting new backgrounds or anything. Also, all vehicle game mode avatar, it can be done. This is all vehicles, but it's all vehicles for Age of Sigmar. So it's people bringing armies of like ghouls and elves and ghosts and stuff, and I'm just like, no, fuck you, 8 tanks. 8 tanks. I mean, I could do Jackbox. I mean, to be fair, I don't own Jackbox on Steam, so I'd have to buy it. But like, people have done that. There was a Jackbox meta back in like 2020, 21. There was a Jackbox meta where people just collab and play Jackbox. Same with like Scriblio and Gardic Phone and stuff. I kind of don't want to play Gardic Phone with Sin just because I've seen what she can draw in Gardic Phone. I'm just like, oh god, how do I measure up to that? But I'm sure it'll be fun. I'm sure it'll actually be a fun time. And like, I played Gardic Phone with Tate. I played Gardic Phone with Tate and Tate Wife and a bunch of our friends, and that always turned into a fucking hilarious time. I mean, oh, actually no, you couldn't, Tate, because that'd be a pain, because you'd have to like stream it via Discord, and then I'd have to stream the stream of Discord. Yeah, I'd have to do it. Well, I mean, again, I could easily buy Jackbox. It's not. I could buy Jackbox. Like, it's not expensive. Yeah, I don't know. I do want to drag Sin into another Crab collab. I told her this because they've just released a big update to Crab Champions. So maybe it'll be time for Crab. I do want to do more Deep Rock at some point. I think Friday, this week, we're planning on doing either Friday or Saturday. We're planning on doing Lethal Company. So, I mean, there's that. Has to use a terrible mouse. Nah. Again, like I don't have any problem with people who are actually decent artists playing Gartic Phone. I just feel like I don't know. I feel like maybe I don't know. Trackpad only. Yeah, there's the idea. Also, I thought I'd summon Sin with talking shit about her. How you doing, Sin? I'm just talking about how I'm too afraid to play Gartic Phone with you. Because I know everything you draw will be good. Excellent. We now have a correctly detailed... Yeah, I see I summoned Nagi as well. I summoned Nagi because I was like, hey Decaf, go bother Nagi just if you want to see the new model. Tablets on Gartic Phone? Okay. If only there was a lurk command. I know, but I like to see if I can bait out the Sin. It's like knowing there's a cat under your bed and you're like, if I dangle this piece of string, can I get the cat to make an appearance? Can I get it to do that thing where they're like, they put their little pawsies out from under the bed and try and grab they go like, try and drag it under the bed. See, there is no lurk command. That reminds me. Exactly. I know how to appeal to Decaf's true nature. Go bother Nagi. Bother your man. It's like I know how to summon Nagi, which is Kiev Zidane. Chicken Kiev Zidane. Where are the shields? Here are the shields. That reminds me, I need to add the ban Tate command to my Twitch commands. Wow, it's already 11:15. Jesus. All right, it's the weird little spinny thing that goes on top. And all my shields. Chicken, yeah, but I'm always unsure on what the pronunciation is. Ban Tate redeem. I mean, I'm tempted. I know a couple of streamers have. I'm pretty sure Matara Khan has it. I think Tomato might have had it at one point. I know a couple of streamers have had like ban roulettes where it spins a wheel and like bans a random member of stream for like that stream. I haven't quite had the heart to figure out how to do that. Because I don't actually want to ban anyone who's not causing trouble, but I mean, to be fair, yeah, I could do that because I do have the PNG I made for you for what's it called, Fugi. Oh man, because we're doing Warhammer, kind of topical. Weirdest shit watching Matara Khan and Bricky do a collab. Bricky, who streams video games but also has kind of a reputation. So Bricky a couple of years ago branched into doing Warhammer stuff and has become like kind of a known person within the Warhammer content creation scene. Notably because he's such a fucking mad lad when it comes to running Night Lords. He's actually taken them to a couple of tournaments and placed with them. And kind of became the like flag bearer for here's how we do. Yeah, I think there is time out with bits. Yeah, Bricky kind of became the flag bearer of like, let's do competitive Night Lords. He did collab with Matara Khan, but it was kind of weird because he clearly had no real understanding of VTubers, which is fine. I get it's not for everyone. But yeah, she was talking about like trying to set up a Fugi, and he was like, "What's a Fugi? What is a Fugi? What is this thing? What is this thing that only VTubers use?" Alrighty. Oh, that reminds me, I should probably do that for the anniversary. because I talked about this previously. Previously on Takame Ando, I now have VBridger, because VBridger now works with a webcam. Because unlike a lot of people, I don't use an iPhone. I use a webcam. I have a Razer Kiyo, and it works pretty damn well. Because I didn't want to buy a fucking iPhone, because I'm a Android user. And I didn't want to buy an iPhone just for the webcam. I know people do them, they buy like older ones that are jailbroken or whatever, but I'm like, no, not gonna do it. Exactly, Takame Android. Yeah, VBridger now works with webcams, and I've tested it. I need to tweak it a bit more. It does some weird things. Nerd Outpost, welcome in, how you doing? Good evening. My name is Takame Ando, or Ando for short. We're building some stuff. We built some TIE Fighters. TIE Fighters are Dunsky. And now we're working on my Steam Tank. One of 8. This is actually number 3. I have 2. I have my TIE Fighters. I have 2 that I've built in the other room next door. Okay, those are just gonna lie down for now. Yeah, all webcams work fine, but I think that the Razer Kiyo is quite good. It has good fidelity. Yeah, I like it. It works well for me. The other thing as well is it has a built-in ring light that I thought was going to be necessary, but it turns out my room actually just has good enough lighting that I don't need it. How many points are TIE Fighters worth in Age of Sigmar? Fun fact, I could probably sub in the TIE Fighter for a Dwarf Gyrocopter, which is, I think, off the top of my head, 90 points? No, 80. Dwarf Gyrocopter's 80 points. Which, fun fact, I can actually fit a Gyrocopter in my Steam Tank list. Because my Steam Tank list comes to 1920. It's not... Steam Tanks are 230 per, and then Steam Tank Commander's 270. So... but yeah, I need to adjust my VBridger setup for webcam, because at the moment if I turn it on, so this is my normal sitting height with VTube Studio, and this is where my model normally sits. If I turn on VBridger, suddenly I go much lower. I come down like here, and same with like if I let me get those out of chat. So if I bring my model to center screen, this is my normal height. If I do it like VBridger, I'm suddenly like down really low for some reason. So I need to all my position hotkeys like these do not work. So I need to adjust that. And also, I don't think I will get 100% value out of VBridger. Like, I might get it for the eyes. I think I might get some value for the eyes, but VBridger's value often comes from the mouth movements, right? The complexities that you can add to your mouth. But because of the nature of my mouth and the lip flaps of my mouth and also the teeth, I don't think VBridger will add that much because I don't think I have some of the mouth flaps it needs. So, what do you mean by position hotkeys? Oh yeah. Okay, question mark. So let me explain that. So see how I come down here in the corner, and then I come up here, and then I go in the corner, and then I go here, and then I go there, and then I go here. So I have a bunch of hotkeys on my keyboard. I don't use a Stream Deck. I don't have an Elgato or anything. I just have a bunch of hotkeys that I use for different things. So I've got corner position, bigger, corner position, center screen, shell off, shell back on. You didn't see that, Sin. Goggles off, goggles on, and then I have the emotes that Liz so kindly made for me. Smile, frown, angy, and then goodbye. I can hide from the world. VTube Studio question mark, and then I also have these ones. I can make myself go dark mode. And then light mode again. VTube Studio question mark? You mean you weren't seeing a live action turtle? No, you're not. But yeah, no, they're all set up in VTube Studio. So I just have a bunch of hotkeys for when I want to zip around and make myself more interesting. because I figured, because people sometimes come in and they're like, hey, can I see the model? Am I using VTube Studio was the full sentence? Yes. That is the answer. I am using VTube Studio. I have VBridger, and again, you can run VBridger via VTube Studio. You can, because I know you can run VBridger on its own, I think, if you want, but yes, I run VTube Studio 99% of the time. I know there's some others. Is it VC Face or whatever? There's a couple of different ones, but I run VTS. Because I think VTube Studio was the best option for me for a couple of reasons. One, because it has the NVIDIA tracking as an option, and I have an NVIDIA card. Yeah, let me try and explain how you can do position hotkeys. So basically, hang on. Let me disrupt and disrespect my surroundings. All right. Goodbye, camera. Animes. Yeah, I think that's the other one. All right, hang on. Where are we? Window capture. Okay. Why did that start okay, no, because it's... Why is that capturing... Why is that capturing that? That should be capturing... Do not capture that. Why is that capturing that? That is wrong. That is entirely wrong. Hang on. Let me BRB. Okay. Mission abort. Mission abort. I do not know why it was doing silly things. Hang on, let me just kill that window capture. Yeah, so I couldn't figure out how to show VTube Studio on stream for some reason. Maybe it's because I'm using Spout. But I was going to show off how you actually set hotkeys for position stuff. And basically what you do is, even though I can't show it, you go into hotkey setup in VTube Studio, and you set a hotkey, and you set hotkey action to move model, and you record. So you move the model the way you want it. Go hotkey action, move model, record position, and it will record wherever the model is currently. And then you set that to a hotkey, and that's how you do it, if that makes sense. Unfortunately, I could not give a demonstration. Sorry, Avatar. But that's how I make my model do the things. Do I like Spout? Yes. Spout makes life much better for 3 reasons. 1, Spout hides all the menus and shit. 2, Spout means, in theory at least, at least I believe that's the case. Because I've heard people saying, like, oh, if you're using the webcam normally, because it's essentially casting it to OBS or whatever, in theory it means that if VTube Studio fails, you could wind up showing your face or something. I don't believe that's true, but at least in theory, Spout would mitigate that. And the third one was Spout decreases the hardware overheads. Because it essentially sends everything straight to OBS instead of having to, like, get OBS to window capture VTube Studio. So it means that I can run things more intensely on my PC with less memory overhead for VTube Studio, which is nice. And also, once you get it set up, it's a little bit of a pain to install, like any of those sorts of things, but once you get it installed, it's done. You don't need to do anything with it. It makes life better. In short, Spout is superior. Everyone should get Spout. Who was? I think it was the year with Nio. Nio was recently like, "Hey guys, I finally installed Spout," and I was like, "Jesus, girl!" After what, 4 years of streaming now, or however long Nio's been doing. I think you're close to 4. Like, Jesus, Boog. I'm glad you did this, but how did you survive without Spout for so long? Particularly with a model that is, like, way better than mine, with far better rigging and clearly, like, way more animation to it. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my model, but it's the same with some of those, like you see a model like that someone like Twin Tails or Diariku does, and you're just like, Jesus, the amount of animation on this must be putting a tax on your system. Come on, find the hole. There we go. That was the case with Juniper when she released her Death's Head model. The first iteration, she had to modify it. The first iteration, she was like, there are too many layers on this. There are too many effects on this. It is literally, like, causing VTube Studio to crash. Fucking stay in place. This is the problem. So putting the shields on the side of this thing is an absolute pain, because I don't know if you can see it. They don't curve quite the same as the hull. So it means the contact is not always perfect. Alright, let me... talked about this before. The good thing about Tamiya Extra Thin, that it's really liquid, so you can literally just tap it on the side of a gap and it'll run into the gap and start to fill it, which is Wonderful. Downside is you have to be careful on anything like chainmail. So I find it likes to run down chainmail and get in all the links and turn them into goo. Also, I still like the Citadel, because the Citadel glue is thicker. Yeah. I really like that, like, for instance, joining the hull plates, like the hull plates around here and stuff all around the roof and stuff. I use Citadel glue for that just because it's thicker. Which means that I find it tends to, like, on large panels, it grips better. Because the Tamiya is really fast acting, which is good, but I find it doesn't have that kind of bind. Like, it grips quick, but it you know, it grips quick, but it doesn't have that that work time that the Citadel does, where I can kind of put that on and like push these plates together and it'll all squeeze out to where I need it to be and fill a lot of the gaps. Because the thing with plastic glue is what it actually does is it welds the glue together. It welds the plastic together. It melts the plastic. Which means that in theory it can kind of fill its own gaps. But the Tamiya is often so thin that it doesn't actually fill the gaps, which can be a problem. Because you wind up with very obvious ools in the thing. Yes. Oh. Okay, there we go. Is that done? I should bring this on camera a little bit more. Fortunately, the steam tank does not really sit flat. Actually, that's a good angle for the camera. Not too bad. Paint, 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 paint. Eat pant. Oh. Almost glued that to my finger. At least I'm not working with super glue. I fucking hate super glue sometimes. There have been more than a few times with super glue where I'm like, I have glued my fingers together and nothing to the model. Also, fun fact, super glue, aka cyanoacrylate, reacts badly with cotton. It will actually create an exothermic reaction where if you have enough of it in high enough concentrate, it will create a fire. Under most cases it doesn't, but I have spilled cyanoacrylate on cotton pants before and it did create a little hot spot where I was like, is this going to burn me? It felt like it was getting close. Alright, let's do the little gubbin. We might do the gubbin and then we might... I don't know. Do I want to keep going? Do I want to call it? These are the tough choices that beset mankind. That's... no, it's on the rotor, isn't it? Alright, file that. diagram hanging off the bottom of the screen. Glue in. There. Glue successfully applied. Ta-da! We now have a 100% completed steam tank. It is now completed. Mission success. We've been pretty productive tonight. We got 2 TIE fighters done. We got the steam tank. Oh yeah, I didn't show this off. This is an orc I'm painting. It hasn't got any highlights yet. This is the first orc I've painted in like a million years. So I still need to do highlights for it. I've done the washes and a bit of layering. Wow, you really do get a lot more brown on the axe in this light. But yeah, I figured I'd show that off because yeah. Oh, he is a handsome boy. He's got that absolute Chad jawline. But it's, yeah, that's just what I've been fucking around with these past couple of days. Because I've finished my skeletons. And because my... let me show them off. So these are my Plague Marines. And they've been tormenting me by sitting on my shelf, not being finished. But I'm like, I don't want to finish you because that's going to be a lot of work. Yeah, the family resemblance is strong. My Uggy boys. My Uggy boys. I got some other stuff to work on. This is one of my bot war minis. So this is one that I just painted a while ago because I wanted to try out the new Citadel yellows. So I got a bunch more of them to paint. And fit him back on the shelf where he belongs without knocking the camera. Yeah, I got a bunch of things to work on, but I think we're gonna call. I'm gonna wait a couple of minutes and then we're gonna call it because I don't want to do a raid while we're in an ad break. That'd fucking suck. Oh, actually, no, I know what I will kind of work on. Ta-da! That guy showed up in the mail the other day. The Rin Lord. Also, I fucking love this song. This is Skeletons in the Attic by Zombie Hyperdrive, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna use my shitty clippers. No, I'm not done yet. I'm not done. Well, good night to you, but I'm not done yet. I'll be done shortly. But bon, if you are disappearing, bon nuit to us all. I hate clamshells. I hate clamshells. I hate clamshells with a passion. I miss blister packs. Actually, fuck. It's all the time once again. Alright, I've been spoiling you. There's been too much orb time tonight. So, I managed to free my Rune Lord from his prison. Alright, so I need the base bit. Where did I put my clippers? There's my clippers. Maybe we can get some work done on this guy in 15 minutes.
I think I've taken this a little too far, but it's something I had to see. Scribed in blood.
Also, Unicorn by Gunship, which is the album that is playing, or this song is from. Absolute banger. I recommend. Old square bass, good old square basses. Man, it's funny because people don't really appreciate it. People like harp on about GW basses now. They like whinge, but like the slaughter bass really was revolutionary when they came out with it, because traditionally with lead miniatures, the bass was you either had to find a bit of wood or a bit of tin or something to use as a bass, or the model came with it sculpted on. And the reason why they came up with the slaughter bass was because Brian Ansell he did some math and he figured out, hang on, if we sculpt the bases as part of these miniatures in lead, like, because the whole miniature was in pewter, obviously, if we sculpt these in metal, that's like 25% of the model's weight. So if we make the bases out of plastic instead, which is cheaper and easier to mass produce, yeah, well, they are stable, but this is the other thing as well, is that they realized, hang on a minute, we can save 25% metal on every model, which means we can make the models like cheaper and provide a better base. And it more or less wound up becoming the industry standard. But when they first introduced it, like, people thought it was witchcraft. People were like, how dare they do this? How dare they get rid of our metal bases?
Love creates the illusion that we are not alone.
Alright. But it's a really interesting hobby, considering that, like, a lot of this started, like so many hobbies, like D&D as well, with BIS, blokes in sheds, dudes in sheds just be like, I'm gonna make some toy soldiers, and they make some toy soldiers and start selling them, and then along the way other people have figured out like better ways of doing things. They're like, no, cast your metal like this, or like make your bases like this. And it does lead to some interesting things. There is a phenomenon I find in wargaming where, like, a company will come out and be like, hey, we've made this tool that lets you do this thing, and people will be like, why should I buy that? I can already do it by buying this other thing and modifying it and then like stapling on 3 other things, and I have the same tool. And it's like, yes, but you had to actually make that yourself. Like, there is something to be said for convenience. A great example is like paintbrushes. Sometimes companies will be like, hey, here's our new paintbrush, and people are like, but we use makeup brushes, and it's like, yeah, but makeup brushes aren't perfect for this. Or, you know, other stuff. I'm trying to think of like a really good example. I used to have one where it was like, everyone used to be like, oh, we just make our own. It's like, yeah, but I was, you know, I think it was trees. Because like a lot of that stuff, like trees and block and stuff, we basically nicked from the male modeling community. No, the rail modeling community, the train people. So the trees were never quite to scale. I'll start a new model, Ando says. I've got plenty of energy, Ando says, and then immediately crashes. Immediately hits 1056, and Ando's just like, no. Yeah, actually, I might get some of the basics of this set up, and then I might pull it and go and have a honk schnoo. Because my eyes have suddenly just gone, and I am I'm feeling the call of the Eepy. That reminds me, which head do I want? Oh, I want the fucking huge beard. There are two heads in this kit, which is kind of cool. There's that one and there's that one. But I want the fucking massive beard. He's a dwarf. He's got to look like one. He's got to have a beard Grimnir would be proud of. Man, I love Warhammer Fantasy Dwarves. They're one of my favorite factions. There's just something so enjoyable about a bunch of just like presumably Yorkshire hill lads, dudes who live in mountains, who are just like, love me gold, eat elves, eat green skins, simple as. No, I do love me the dwarves, but the problem is, I swear there was some unspoken rule in like Black Library where everyone writing dwarves always had to make them suffer. And I mean, I get that they're supposed to be a race that is not on the up and up. But like, for instance, the War of the Beard, which was supposed to be like the big war between dwarves and elves, that book series, it's where the dwarves lost like every battle except for like the ones at the very end, and that always kind of annoyed me. It was like, someone writing this book is clearly an elf lover. Fucking knife ears. And I'm like, don't get me wrong, I love elves too, but it just kind of sucked that like literally every battle the dwarves would kind of be winning, and then just suddenly a dragon would show up and absolutely just fuck their army. I might actually be able to get this guy done. I don't know. Am I being overly ambitious? Maybe. Because he's actually a really simple build in terms of what parts go where. And I probably won't actually put him on the base I have included, because I have... Where is it? Put it around here somewhere. I have a base that I did earlier that I pre-textured. I had it around here somewhere. I'll find it eventually. But I had a leftover base from when I was doing some textured bases for my other dwarves. So that means I can base them and he'll match. Let's clean up this beard. He's a rune lord, he must have a respectable beard. Must be fine and luscious and conditioned. Like the silken air of a maid of Valère. Washed every day in ale. Man, love me some dwarfs. So I'm glad they're going to get a bunch of support with the old world now, because they're one of the main armies. And it gets me hopeful, because just this morning they announced there's a new model coming out for Bretonnia, and it's a model that was originally sculpted in 2008, and everyone's giving it shit because the face is from 2008 and it's a hand sculpt as opposed to a modern digital sculpt. And I'm like, yeah, sure, fine. Like, what do you expect from a model that's from 2008? You know, I'm neither for or against it. I think, it's good enough. It's fine, whatever. big one for me though is I'm like, okay, if they're bringing back models from the vaults, things that were sculpted but never released, what about the dwarf tank? Because I've heard this from people who worked at GW that years ago, before Warhammer Fantasy was squatted, there was a plastic kit that was being worked on. I think it was plastic, like a dwarf steam tank. But it never got to production for whatever reason. It was deemed to be too big, too whatever. But now that dwarves are back and we have much, I guess you'd say, a precedent of bigger kits. Ah, Maddie, welcome in. Hello, I will. Hang on, let me put things down. I will talk to people. Let me just pause that real quick. Hello, Raiders. Did I push the right button? No, I pushed the wrong button. Hello. My name is Takami Ando, or Ando for short. I am Turtle. Yeah, I'm doing good. Welcome in, Maddie. Let me do the shout outs and all that. How are you? And so, Maddie. Hopefully that works because my eyes are not good at the moment. Excellent. Ace Attorney, fantastic. Yeah, love to see it, man. I could not do the Ace Attorney things. I am not good at the voice speaky like Maddie is. Maddie is fantastic. They do wonderful dialogue for their playthroughs. I could not do it because I am bad at reading. My brain read faster than my mouth do, so I kind of wind up just going like blah 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 as my brain is reading everything. But yes, Raiders, welcome in. I am building models at the moment. We built a bunch of stuff. We built a steam tank. We've built TIE fighters. I've talked a bunch of shit about a lot of stuff. I'm building a Rune Lord at the moment, and then I'm probably going to finish up. But if you need to eat, sleep, probably sleep at this time of night, kind of touch grass, build your own models, all those sorts of things, then yeah, by all means, thanks for dropping by. But if you need to go, by all means go. Do the things you need to do. Live your life. Secure that bag. But aside from that, strap in. Will be well, I wouldn't say strap in. It's not really exciting. Get comfy. Huddle up in them blankets. Get yourself a warm beverage. We'll finish off our rune lord, and thank you all for coming by. Yeah, well, not quite, Mike. It's not that stream yet. The only pegs here are bits of plastic. Well, technically bits of plastic anyway. Yeah, a variety of plays. That's my blend. Oh no, did I just trigger something? I think I did. Maybe. Oops. Oh well, I'll figure that out when oh no, that was just my background. The background that you can't see. The background that you can now see. See, it's got Fimsh. Yeah, I do a bunch of stuff, and tonight that bunch of stuff is Warhammer, because I love it dearly, and I like to build things on stream, even though my setup isn't ideal, because camera is over here and camera is over here. I understand that you could probably only see like half of that gesticulation, but okay, that needs glue. Oh, that's right, I turned my music off. That's why it's so ominously silent. And I feel like I'm having to fill so much dead air. What do I want now? No. Yeah, sure. Let's mute the VOD, because this is a fucking banger of a song. Glue. That's what I was doing. Glue, and then coming back and looking at actually what I'm doing. Yeah, correct, Mike. Correct. Camera 2. Camera 1 is over there. Camera 1 is that away. Let me... But it means that, yeah, like, I can't quite... It is awkward to hold my hands under the camera all the time. I'm currently twisting my spine. And it is less than ideal. Because contrary to popular belief, Ando do not want that scoliosis. Yeah, thanks for dropping by, Maddie. By all means, go have a rest. You've probably earned it from like all of the Ace Attorney. Go east. Go east. It was the best of times. It was the least of times. Okay, we now have a man. Behold a man. Diogenes runs in with a plucked chicken. Oh yeah, speaking of Diogenes and philosophy, I'm going to talk about this at the end of the stream because fuck it, why not? Who here's heard of the Universe 25 experiments? Raise your hand if you've heard of Universe 25. Because I've been seeing Universe 25 doing the rounds on the internet. People talking about it. Which is annoying. It's northwest, alright. Lowest hand, yeah, so Universe 25 was a series of experiments that were run from like 1963. Yes, it's the beautiful Mice 1 decaf. So yes, Universe 25 was a series of experiments that were run from about 1963 till about 1972. And yeah, it was basically a bunch of mice, well, rats actually, going insane. Now, the thing that annoys me is that recently I've been seeing a lot of people posting about it, but they've been missing an important part of it, right? So the way that chuds keep posting about it online is they go, Universe 25 was supposed to be a rat utopia where it was a colony of rats that had all of the space and food and water they could ever want. They didn't have to struggle for anything, and as a result, as the population grew, they all went insane because you wound up with beautiful rats who didn't do anything. They just sat around and just were content to like eat their food and like do absolutely fucking nothing. And then you had other rats who were like cannibal, insane rats who would like, even though they had other food available to them, would just hunt down and murder other rats just to eat them and all this shit. And like, you know, there was all this other stuff, you know, they were saying like, oh, like, you know, there's mice who, you know, would do anything aside from work and blah blah blah, and the chuds have been using this as like this is the problem with modern society. You see, the rat experiment proved it. Like, you know, they knew that this was going to happen. You know, you got all these Instagram influencers and they're the beautiful rats and all that sort of shit. And here's the thing, they're fucking wrong, right? Me just doing my crazy eyes there. Let me explain why they're wrong. There's an important thing that they keep leaving out, right? And this is something that you need to understand, right? The Universe 25 experiments were supposed to prove one very important thing. And that is, unlike how they frame it, because again, people who keep posting about this say they had abundant food, abundant water, and abundant space. They didn't. They had abundant food and abundant water. The experiment was designed so that as the population grew, they would become overcrowded. The point of the experiment, and the amount of times it was repeated over the decade it was run, was in order to see how a society changed when overcrowded, when there was a lack of personal space. So yes, everyone in this society had infinite food and infinite water, but the reason why you wound up with fucking insane cannibal rats and rats that just lay around being like, I'm beautiful, feed me, and like why their population growth shrank down to nothing, because it got to a point where like none of the rats wanted to breed. I think it was like the last rat was born into like the 13th generation and there were no rats born after them. Again, the reason for that is overpopulation. It was the fact that the rats did not have sufficient space per rat and thus were in like constant physical contact with each other. That was the point of the experiment. And so I wanted to ramble about that because, again, I keep seeing it popping up lately and people keep talking about it wrong. It's not about the effect of modern society. It's not about everyone having too much access to things and therefore we're becoming a bunch of soft, beautiful rats. Although, I mean, I wish I could be a soft, beautiful rat instead of a soft, not beautiful turtle. Yeah, exactly. We live in a rat society. Can't have shit in Detroit. But yeah, I keep seeing people misrepresent this, and it makes me mad. It's the same with Karl Popper's the tolerance paradox. I keep seeing people like, they'll be like, yeah, the Karl Popper tolerance paradox shows that tolerance is stupid, and it's like, that's not what Popper meant at all. Popper's point was literally the exact opposite. It was, in order to have a tolerant society, we need to determine a level of intolerance that we will not tolerate. Thus, a tolerant society, like, it was, the point was like, this is how to have a tolerant society, not that it is stupid. Yeah, exactly. Classic pop science. And I mean, pop science isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just one of those things where sometimes it gets simplified, and the actual important bits get, shall we say, I won't say redacted, but they get forgotten about. They get forgotten about, and we wind up with whatever fucking ideology of the month fits into the gap. Oh, that better not break. Yeah, I was worried that Hammerhaft was bending. Ah.
As a result,
I wouldn't say even left-leaning science, I would just say right-wing chuds basically distorting reality to fit their agenda. They don't care about facts. They care about stories. They care about stories that are comforting and that make them feel better and do not challenge their perception of things. And I mean, to be fair, we all live in a world of delusions, right? We all live in, like, you know, some delusions that we hold dear to ourselves. It's the classic Pratchett line, which if Tape Wife were here, she would get mad at me for probably butchering, but it's the whole, we need to believe the little lies so that we can believe the big lies. You know, lies like truth and justice and mercy. Because take the universe and grind it down to the finest powder and sieve it through the finest sieve, and find me one molecule of mercy, one atom of justice. You know, we need stories so that we can be where the falling angel meets the rising ape. Exactly. They don't care about the truth. They care about a narrative. They care about a story. And I mean, sometimes that's okay, because this is something one of my history lecturers once said to me. Actually, it was actually my supervisor for my history thesis. Was he said, never let facts get in the way of a good story, right? Like, obviously you need to have your proper historical facts, but sometimes when there's a way where you can tell it that is more engaging, if you don't know one way or the other, sometimes it's okay to lean towards one. It's like, hey, we don't have the information to confirm this one way or another, but it's interesting to think of it this way. It's engaging to think of it this way. One of the reasons why I kind of hate journalists writing history, because they always write history books that are really engaging but not particularly historical. Every Anzac Day, it's fucking what's his face. Yeah, indeed, Decap. The real science were the rats we ate along the way. I don't know. Can't be a beautiful cannibal rat. Well, to be fair, I don't think the beautiful rats and the cannibal rats overlapped, but it is interesting, and I feel like that experiment had to have influenced Judge Dredd. It had to have influenced Judge Dredd, because if you read like a lot of the Judge Dredd stuff, there's a lot of stuff like that. Like there's, what do they call it, fatties or whatever, which are like humans who become addicted to eating. And then there's the other ones who just go insane from the realization that like all life is meaningless. There's a bunch of stuff in Judge Dredd that's like very much like that. It's very much the like, hey, they must have read up on this and been like, hey, we're creating an overpopulated dystopian megacity. Let's throw in some of this shit. Also explains Necromunda with the corpse grinders. Rat political compass quiz. Where's the secret of Nim fit in that? I feel like Skaven would be bottom right. Like on the rat politicals compass, Skaven are like libertarians. Ah, yes. Well, see, I didn't learn about Roko's Basilisk while high. Thanks for dooming us all, Mike. But, well, the thing about Roko's Basilisk, I find it amusing because of the forum on which it was suggested. They were like, they banned it because they were like, we consider this to potentially be a cognito hazard, which I find amusing. My thing with Roko's Basilisk is, I have some question marks about how it is supposed to be dangerous. Like, the thing that I didn't fully, so for those of you who don't know, I'll do a quick summary of what Roko's Basilisk is. Roko's Basilisk was a thought question about an all-powerful AI. Like, eventually an all-powerful AI will be created, and the idea is that, like, it will decide to murder humanity, more or less. But part of it is basically, the argument is, could there exist an AI so powerful that knowing about it would doom you to die because the AI would deem anyone who knows about it a threat and therefore kill you? But the thing I don't understand about Roko's Basilisk is a question of, is it recursive? Is it a case of this AI is so powerful that it can affect time, so it can kill you backwards in time? Or is it supposed to be a thing of, the AI is so powerful it will know that you did either tried to stop it or did not do anything to bring it into existence, and therefore in the future when it does exist it will try and kill you out of revenge? That's the thing I don't understand about Roko's Basilisk. Is it essentially God? Is it essentially the fake that it's so powerful it can just kill you back in time? Or is it a case of by knowing about it and not doing anything to facilitate it, it deems you an enemy and therefore will kill you if you ever cross paths with it? That's the thing I don't know about it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think anyone's ever adequately explained it. I don't know. I honestly, maybe it's just me, I don't think we'll ever get an AI that is that powerful. Unless like it can somehow create an X silica body for itself, a body that exists outside of a computer, a digital universe. Because the best example I saw of well, a quote I saw actually today was that computers make highly fast, highly accurate mistakes, right? Computers are really bad at self-correcting. A great example is ChatGPT. Now that ChatGPT started copying shit that's wrong, ChatGPT will be just like, hi, I'm going to confidently give you an answer, and this answer is fucking wrong, and I have no idea that it's wrong. So I feel like we will never get, everyone talks about this God AI, this AI is so smart and it can just predict everything. And I'm like, I don't think we'll ever get an AI like that. I think we'll get an AI who can make highly, like, incredibly fast predictions. But I feel like we'll get an AI where it's like it will not be able to realize that its own model is wrong. The ability to self-correct without external stimuli and like external data sets is what I think limits AI. Yeah, on the side of any future basilisks, AI or otherwise. I don't know. Again, I don't think AI is everything that people make it out to be. And I say this as someone who works in automation engineering, because it's like everyone goes, oh yeah, AI is so smart. And it's like, yeah, but I work with people who program AI and stuff like that, and I've seen the sort of stupid shit that they've done. And so if AI's intelligence is determined by the intelligence putting them together, then clearly, like, until AI are able to exceed the intelligence of the people putting them together, no. Like, I've seen how stupid the creators are, therefore the creation must have some of those limitations. We have almost completed a man. Like, this is the thing. This is another thing I get mad about. I understand that there are ethical questions in automation, right? And I am a believer in ethical automation. That is automation that makes people's lives easier and makes people's jobs safer. And automation does that. It's a very important thing, because people often complain that automation is just about getting rid of jobs, you know? Just about cutting back on expenditure. And in some cases that's true, but it's not always that case. A great example is where I work. You know, 60 years ago, a lot of that job was done by hand, right? People were hauling white hot metal out of a furnace and moving it with big sets of block and tackle and tongs onto machinery, you know, with very little protection. And, you know, sparks were going everywhere and people were getting burns and all sorts of shit was going, like, you know, there is a book going back to like the 1950s, I think, of all of the deaths that happened in the company. Like, they have a record of all the times people died on the job. You know, so automation's great for that. But what I hate, what I fucking despise, is what I call faux automation. And faux automation is stuff like self-checkouts, like at Coles and Woolworths, where they're like, try our new self-checkout, and I see people being like, oh, automation is taking jobs. I've seen the inside of those self-checkouts. There is no fucking automation in those things. They are literally a computer, right? They are literally, like, they are not automation. Nothing has been automated there. All Coles and Woolworths have done is cuck us. They have cucked us into doing the job of the checkout people. Exactly. They have made us do it for free. They have cucked us. The only automatic part of it is the fact that I think Woolies and maybe Coles have now implemented a thing that lets you, it's a camera that detects if you put the wrong thing on the scale. Yeah, like, that's not automation at all. There is no automation there. That's just Coles and Woolies being shit. Alright, let's get this shoulder pad on. Excellent. We behold a man. We now have our rune lord. He has a stick and he has a hammer and he has a beard and he's ready to spell me some runes. Excellent. All right. It's now a bit past midnight, so I'm going to call it there. Whomst are we going to raid? Oh, Astrid is on. We could do Astrid. Actually, I think Astrid's on. I should probably refresh and find out who is actually on. Mine eye. Ooh, there's Noodle. Ah, Yeah, actually, we might go raid the Chimkin. Because he's playing like cyberpunk waifu games, so that's clearly what we want. Alright. I'm gonna send you over to Noodle. I don't know if I'm gonna stream again this week before Friday. Because Friday's when we're doing Lethal Company. But I'm gonna send you all the way over to Noodle, who is a Chimkin. Be good. Enjoy the cyberpunk waifus. And thank you all. No problem. Yeah, we're gonna do some more hand cam streams in the future, but I don't know exactly when. But maybe once per week. I don't know. It's hard. No problem. I'm now sleepy. No problem. Thanks for stream, Ando. I was about to say that to myself. Anyway, thank you all for coming by. I'm gonna send you on. Bye.